So
Definitely.
you've had to make a couple calls during your time.
Oh, I've had to make like 40 calls that I can't tell any of them. That's the only soft one I can tell. Yeah, I've made a lot of calls.
You can make calls still.
I have no choice. I've made a lot of things. Yeah. A lot of really disgusting, ugly, like, holy fuck. Like, how can you live with yourself? And you do what you got to do. Betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do. And I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas. Bussin' with the boys. Bro.
There you go.
There it is.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Bussin' with the Boys, episode 261 after the conference championships. Let's go, boys. We had a hell of a lot of ball today. We are going to get into the conference championships. Mitch is going to have himself a massive possible redemption day when it comes to the Twisted Question of the Week, presented by Twisted Tea. If you need one of those, 5% ABV. We don't have to talk about it right now. But what else we got? Is there anything else?
I mean, we're
Feiner.
prepping. Yeah. We had Stu Feiner, incredible interview. The interview's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Taylor and I collectively probably spoke 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 hours and 40 minutes of Stu Feiner. It is absolutely like you can put yourself in, walk yourself through like you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like a mafia movie.
If you are,
Some good
if
storytelling.
you're watching on YouTube and when Stu comes on for 2 hours and 45 minutes, just close your eyes and picture it in your head. That's all you got to do in this situation.
It really is.
Or Rumble.
What's that?
Rumble. Yes, Rumble.
Or Rumble. Or if you're on Rumble or YouTube. YouTube or Rumble. You do whatever you want. Do what you want. Well, I can't do that.
Hey, and a call to action, like Barstool, we're doing a deal with the Rumble. Big opportunity to show that the boys move audience. So if you're watching right now, wherever you're getting this podcast, audio, video, whatever the case may be, head over, download the Rumble app, follow Bussin' with the Boys. Let's get these numbers up. We're all starting ground floor.
Ground floor.
And I love to see the tier ones and everybody show out, move over to Rumble and just do it for the boys. You don't even, just do it for the boys.
Yep.
Create an account, hit the follow button on Bussin' with the Boys on Rumble. And that's my call to action.
Because
Arm in arm.
Right.
Arm in arm.
Because in 2 days' time, Bussin' with the Boys is in a contract year, boys. We are in a contract year, and what better way to show off what the boys can bring is when you start from the ground floor on a different platform.
Yes.
And that's all up to you guys. You guys do what you want in that thing. But let's get right into it, boys. Let's talk. Do you have some?
Oh, for real? Oh, today as in Monday or today as in Tuesday? Okay.
All right. So if you're listening to this right now, Meat Eater, the boy and I, we went up to Montana. I know, it's awesome. We went up there with a couple of the Meat Eater guys. We went on a duck hunt. It was, we were definitely fish out of water in a couple of situations.
We did solid now.
No. We did well. Now that they have a vlog that's coming out that'll show all of that. The boys did pretty solid.
Yeah. Steve, Cal's dog.
Steve is truly, when you watch the show alone, he's the victor every single time. He's the guy that can just put things together. I think we told the story about the beaver, but we're literally, like, me, JP, Will, we were sitting in his truck with him, like his 3 kids, watching him essentially put together traps and all that.
After the hunt, thinking we're going, okay, now we're going to go eat some food. Like, we're a little hungry. Like, okay, now.
Haven't eaten yet today.
Dad's taking us to finally go eat some food.
Right.
Stay warm.
We
and all of
earned
a sudden, he pulls off into a graveyard and just gets a scent, starts getting on some beaver scent. I'm like, hey, there's just been this beaver around here tearing some stuff up. I'm going to go check it out for the boy. On some neighbor stuff, on some good neighbor stuff.
Parkours over a fence.
Yeah.
It's ripping down. I tried to hop the fence. It hurt the shit out of my knee.
Yeah, we just, hey, we'll stay up here, Steve.
Yeah, fat boyed it back over. But it was an incredible time. Hope you guys tune into that Meat Eater podcast.
And I'm embarrassed to say this,
Go ahead.
but I did not know. I knew that they were big. I did not know that their brand was what it was.
Great point.
And I was pumped. They checked me. I was wearing the wrong gear when I walked in. Won't shout out because no free shout outs to that brand, because now they're an enemy because you want to support the Meat Eater brand. But they check you right when you walk in. When we posted our photo that we were doing a collab with Meat Eater, I feel like that night, we were talking about the next day, all of my buddies that were just hitting me up saying, oh, you're doing a Meat Eater collab? Like, when's that coming out? Are you actually doing the show or are you just doing the podcast? I'm thinking, I have no clue. They just want to do a collab. So we're just out here ready to go duck hunting. And I'm feeling kind of bad because I'm like a once a year fluff kind of hunter.
Right.
Like would love to
Check
get
the
into
box
doing
for
it. Yeah, I
manhood.
check the box. I give it the boys. We have a good time. But I'm not like a true through and through hunter all year round. Like a lot of my friends that are hitting me up. So part of me feels bad that I'm getting to experience the Meat Eater collaboration versus them. But I didn't know that they were as massive as they were. And that's on me. That's on me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we are now friends. I love being out there with them.
The good news is you don't have to shoulder that burden alone, because I definitely had a couple of boys out in AZ, Ken Proden and Bo Campbell to be specific, that were like, holy shit, you're doing that. And these guys are always trying to get tags for this and that. And they're out every day in the wintertime trying to hunt up at 5 a.m., like truly living it.
Yeah.
And we essentially went glamping. Like we did some man stuff, and we did all the things that all the real men want to. We did some man stuff. All the things that the real men want to do, we kind of just cut the line and got to do it.
Yeah.
So you're shouldering the burden with that. The story about your hunting guys, it was a heartbreaker for me when they were talking about how they should go out with the Meat Eater guys.
Yeah, we were at our annual Texas hunting trip, and it happened in December. And then we were sitting around the fire, and they were talking like, "Hey, one of these times we should go up to Montana and get in touch with Steve and see if we can do a hunt out there." And I'm just thinking like, "Yeah, boys, about that. I think Bussin with the boys were going out there next month." They're like, "Oh no, shit!" They were awesome about it. But I was like, "Yeah, your boy's already doing that. The least hunter of this entire crew."
Right.
And I had an ex-teammate, Jake Wesh. Shout out Jake Wesh. He was a punter in Nebraska, and he's like, "Bro, I love everything Bussin that you guys do, but this is by far head and shoulders above the rest. My most excited collab to see you guys do. It's gonna be awesome."
Yeah. Graham Glasgow, who was just playing the NFC Championship last night, texted me, and it was like, Frank Ragnow is in my ear about just please say something to them about Frank Ragnow.
Frank was in the comments when we were posting the stuff on Instagram.
Was he really?
Yeah, because Frank, he's
about it.
He's been a fisher. I'm guessing hunter. Like he's all the stuff outdoors.
He's an
outdoorsman.
He's an outdoorsman. Blanket statement. Yeah.
He belongs on a place like Meat Eater.
Yeah, and I believe he has his own YouTube channel and everything like that.
And because we were kind of telling the Meat Eater boys, if they're dipping their toes in taking on athletes, like obviously in football, there's so many guys, there's so many outdoorsmen that they could kind of do something similar they did with us and kind of just take other guys like, Frank, have Frank out, host Frank.
Yeah. They should have.
It was, go check that podcast out.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, dude. Really excited to see, because they were actually talking about coming down to the South too. And
Yeah.
we talked about noodling, which you were,
No.
I'm not going to speak for your own emotions.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the number one thing you wanted to do.
Sometimes you gotta draw a line in the sand, and I feel like
Or the
noodling, or the waters. I feel like noodling, like sticking your arm in one of them mud holes, just that doesn't.
It wouldn't be the first time you did
it. But yeah, no noodling for your boy. I don't think. I'm sure I can be talked into it, but I truly am going to be terrified.
You just gotta get gritty, dude. Pop off one of those fake teeth and just dive into the culture of noodling.
First scary movie of my life, Anaconda.
Oh,
so
Anaconda.
Good.
So
God, that movie's so good.
So good.
And that was right around the same time like Lake Placid came out, right?
Yeah, Lake Placid was a few years later, but yeah, definitely the same era.
Yeah, that same, yes. That was my biggest fear is snakes. That is of all the animals in the kingdom of animals, like that is the number one, like the serpents, like JP, Bible, like they talk about the devil, they talk about serpents, right? Like why the fuck are we like letting these things around here, just ripping around willy-nilly? There's a guy on Instagram, and I don't hate that we're giving a bunch of shout outs, but there's a guy on Instagram who goes to the Florida Everglades with his bare feet.
I love him.
Taylor loves him too. And he's just like, oh, look, a small little thing. Yeah, yoink.
Anaconda, or a python. This Burmese python.
Bro.
20-foot
python? He's on I'll pull him up.
Yeah, he's on a hunt for a 20-foot python. He caught like a 19 one. The one tries to get him. He does this like acrobatic jump out of the way and snatches it by like the top of the head and catches it. Dude's walking through Florida with no shoes on, Will.
So he's
like, look at this little swamp puppy right here. It's just a crocodile 3 feet from him.
Look at this swamp puppy.
Yeah.
This is him right there.
Look at that.
In the Everglades.
He's in the swamp with his feet like that, dude. He's just Old Testament. He's Adam and Eve. He's a chosen one.
Yeah.
This kid, look at him. Look, see right there, shit my pants.
Yeah, like that to me is like, yo, you're reaching your hand in this hole, like anything could be in there. We're talking snapping. We haven't even gotten into snapping turtles.
Yeah, snapping turtles take a finger, no problem, dude. Maybe even look at that. And his dialogue during it too is pretty funny because he just plays everything down so much, but it's a wild deal. But yeah, I think, dude, if we went out there again,
would you noodle?
Yeah, I would do it.
You were kind of like about it. I wanted to just stand strong. Like, hey guys, this is going to be a long uphill. Like I truly don't think I'll do this unless a couple of you guys already go, and then I'll stick my hand in there.
A couple of therapy sessions because
Yeah.
I know very little about noodling, but I do know that people have told me if it's a circle, that's where your catfish is. If it's an oval, which very similar shapes, I know. If it's an oval, that's when you're in snapping turtle central. That's the only thing I know about noodling. The idea of being underwater, holding your breath, you're tugging away with this 20-pound catfish is scary, but I view it the same way as like
what comes out of the oval?
Snapping turtle. And I could be totally wrong. Chat, hit me up, chat, let us know. But I will say, like, I put noodling in the same category as skydiving. Like, sitting here on this bus right now, I say, yes, I do it. But I'm sure once I got to the moment, it'd be shitting bricks type of situation.
Yeah,
very nervous type of situation.
You might break your arm, too. Like,
yeah, you could break your arm falling down the stairs, brother. Like,
I guess you could, like, die. Like, you could have, like, a malfunction in skydiving. But I feel like the skydiving...
Look at the size of that thing. Oh, my...
It's an 84-pound catfish.
Imagine chugging a beer off that
both
thing.
Of y'all's children, maybe combined.
That is actually bigger than both my children combined. That's nuts. Yeah, but he went in that deep of water.
Would you guys noodle? Say we did say they came down and we did like another Meat Eater collaboration with them doing catfishing. Like if we backed out, would we be able to throw one of the boys in there?
Yes, it's the snapping turtle thing that gives me a little bit of the willies.
The oval
Losing
that
a
just
finger or toe to like an alligator snapping turtle sounds horrible.
See, I think that honestly,
what?
It's not the end of the world to me. A finger, your arm, yes. Like you start losing your hand, but just stick with me for a second. You lose a toe, you lose like to that first knuckle of like a pinky finger or a ring finger. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because now you got a story forever. People shake your hands, be like, "Yo, what's the deal with Comp?" Oh yeah, he lost that finger. How did it happen? No one's ever really asked him. But now there's a mystique about you. There's a little something different, you know?
Yeah, but once you get in the conversation, they're like, "Oh man, so you kind of you do all the outdoors noodling," and you're just like, "No, I haven't been." Yes. You say, "No, I haven't been ever since."
You lie to their faces.
Yeah,
you lie to their faces immediately. Yo, bro, I really do all that. Yeah, I'm actually going out to swim with sharks next week. You're not gonna. You can go sit in the air conditioned house. But look at that thing.
That's not just taking a pinky.
No, that
yeah,
thing,
bro, that thing's like, fucking
you know,
up.
You're showing a big boy, a big hoss guy.
I'll type in small.
Small snapping turtle.
See, that ain't bad. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
there it is.
That's
We're
what's in
gonna be
that
good.
deep oval hole.
Your nails, dude. That's all that thing's doing. That thing's giving you a mani pedi. That's not a big deal at all. Who's that guy that two-turned Tony? Is that his name? He's got a duck, but he's also got a video. He catches a snapping turtle and like rolls one of his tees towards it.
Dude, remember when we
snaps it and it just the can flies like a mousetrap.
Remember when we were talking to that Amazonian psychopath in New York?
The waiter.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. That was the most unique conversation, like NPC type shit.
Yeah, he like overheard us. I don't even know what we were talking about, but this guy was saying that you go to these certain jungles in the world and it's essentially like all the oversized animals you can think of.
Right. I think it was specifically
forest. You ever heard about that?
Yeah, I've heard about that. There's
like monsters, massive anacondas everywhere, like just massive animals.
This shop, this breakfast spot is right next to Barstool HQ in New York.
Yeah.
And we went there, we flew and we grabbed a bite before we went upstairs.
On the corner, JP.
And yeah, and we're just sitting there having a meal and our waiter comes up and starts having a conversation with us about, I don't even know if we were really talking about it, but he's from Brazil or someplace in South America where the Amazon forest is, and he talks about these tribes that are in the forest that like people go in but forest. They do not come back out.
Is this guy from Rogan? Or are you talking about
no? This is a waiter, bro.
A waiter in New York, and he's talking about anacondas that make like trenches, like legit have like their slithering marks. I don't know what those are called. Their track marks are legit. Like seems like 18 wheelers drove through there. That's
how we were talking about.
Tell me.
Ayahuasca.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Because he's talking about how euphoria, like how euphoric everything is, and then he started talking about these jungles and
yeah. That is another
Watch our Meat Eater podcast.
Yeah. But that you brought up another thing that that ayahuasca is something that I would like to do, but I feel like when the moment came to do it, I would be very nervous. What am I going to find out about myself? Am I ever going to be the same?
Yeah.
But I think it's very like the idea of like headed to Joshua Tree and you have like a guide and you sit there and you take whatever ayahuasca is and then you go walk around and he just takes you on he like essentially teaches you about yourself while you're high.
And probably vomiting everywhere.
Yeah, I think you do. You vomit everywhere. I don't know. I really don't know. But there's stories of these people that farm in Malibu. Malibu, California, that have like take you on ayahuasca trips. Like they are guides up there in the hills of Malibu. I think that'd be kind of tight to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it now, and I think it's cool. But I think the minute it came to me, I'd be a little more nervous. Wouldn't be as nervous as you guys if you're looking to look at the big game. If you're trying to jump into the big game and you're like, man, I want to go watch the 49ers take on the Chiefs, I got you right now. Dude, you need to go to Game Time, dude. Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets for your next big event. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. If we, like when I was about to go to the Rose Bowl for the semifinal championship, I got on Game Time app. Didn't end up working out for me from a schedule standpoint, but I was on that thing ready to go, and they do really have the lowest prices.
And if you're in Vegas next week for the Super Bowl week, outside of the Super Bowl, like UFC Fight Night, shows everywhere, magic shows, we got to hit a magic show.
By the way, I learned a new one. I want to show you soon for my kids. Anyway, scroll up a little bit, Jackie. Last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Game Time deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last minute tickets, find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and magicians and more. And right now, if you're going to the big game, they have a great offer of $100 off your ticket with code Barstool100. You can use that $100 to get some snacks, a nice cold beer, maybe a giant foam finger. Who knows, baby? Anything like that. This offer is valid for new and returning users. So get your big game tickets on Game Time with code Barstool100. Take the guesswork out of buying for your big game tickets with Game Time. Use code Barstool100 for $100 off your tickets to the big game. Download Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, and that is a guarantee, boys.
Shout out to everybody who showed up last night for the little reaction stream that we did.
That was awesome. Once again, dude, we've dipped our toe into the live streaming world, and the tier ones have showed up for us.
Yeah. We wanted to do a little test run on was just championship week. I don't think we're not going to do it after the Super Bowl. I don't believe
we could.
We wanted to get a little tester out there. Shout out Mitch, JP, you guys kind of running that thing last night.
Yeah, the boys, Mitch and JP at the shop.
I know, I saw that.
9 o'clock.
I saw you guys rocking at the shop.
You guys were rock. That's very cool of you guys to do. But do you want to tell the fans how you felt about it after the live stream? What you were saying? You were thinking this might be more of a thing we do consistently. Maybe we next year.
There it is. Yeah, looking at the next year. Yeah. We wanted to get that tester, kind of flirt with the idea of potentially doing it next year. Obviously, games get over way later, so we'll have to check on our bedtimes because we are old men in this day and age. But yes, it could be something that we dip our toe in next year consistently on a consistent basis. So shout out everybody who watched us recap championship weekend. We can cover it a little bit. Chiefs, I mean, they're inevitable.
Yeah, they're inevitable, and I know Raven fans are still waking up this morning really upset, probably still upset with me. You saw my little tweet I posted out about Bubba 412. I mean, you can tell he makes bad life decisions based on the Maryland tattoo on his chest and his profile picture. Guy was talking all kinds of trash. Hit me again in the DM saying, haha, you're gonna have to try better than that. Listen, brother, I don't got to try much harder than that. Like, yeah, you got to love the fight. And I respect it. University of Arizona alum. I don't know if the kid's from Arizona, but good for him. Ravens fans, you guys will get there. The issue is you're in the same conference as the baby goat
and the referees. I'm just saying the referees gave some bad calls, and
there was one bad call.
Zay Flowers fumbled. But man, if he doesn't fumble, if he breaks the plane,
yeah, you win the game. You win that game. The penalties that were called, and there was the conspiracy. Did you guys see week going up to this? The conspiracy theories about the refs. These refs were calling this game, the AFC Championship game, apparently do like 30% more calls on the home team than any other reffing crew in all of the NFL. There was legit conspiracy theories going on about this, how the NFL needs Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and so this officiating crew was put in place to help guide that. Now,
you want that though, yeah?
What
you do want, like the most advantageous for all parties involved is Mahomes, Kelce, Swift.
Yeah, there was also a thing I saw on Instagram this morning, and obviously I'm getting my news from Instagram, but who knows if it's really real or not. NFL, the revenue generated since Taylor Swift has been introduced into the NFL this year, It's like $33 million. It might even be $333 million. Like I forget if I'm missing a zero or not.
There's no question.
But
She's also creating jobs. Like
This will be the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
Of all time. The tickets to this game,
Cheapest one's $9,000.
cheapest one is $9,000. This is not the year to not be in the league, buddy.
no, not that we sell.
No, you can't sell them.
Yeah,
Per
you
the
can't
NFL
sell
rules, you can't sell. But if you wanted to, as players, you get them at wholesale price and you're able to handle yourself. You know?
Like give them to a family member or something.
Give them to a family member for $9,000 if that family member is well off.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I mean, we have a whole live reaction show on
gun.
this. If you guys want to go tune into that, we had obviously Will already touched on how many people came and watched. It was awesome. But this game it's truly just Patrick Mahomes, man.
Hey, and on the Taylor Swift creating jobs, like Kyle Juszczyk. How do you say his last name? Juszczyk. Kyle Juszczyk. His wife.
Yeah.
Like she's been designing all of the, she designs basically like fan gear for like the women who are supporting their other on the field.
Give it more flowers than that. They take jerseys, game-worn jerseys, and she implements them into jackets, shirts, different types of clothing apparel.
It's incredible. And then she made one for Taylor Swift just to make one on the low, like because obviously she can't sell this stuff because it's licensed and everything else, but you're just wearing it again to support. You've seen Kittle, she obviously, Kyle's wife reps it, Kittle's repped it. She made one for Taylor Swift. She walks to the game with this jacket on where the jersey, she put the jersey over the jacket. And since then, overnight, gained like 500,000 followers. And the NFL, I believe, is licensing a deal with her to make that kind of gear.
That's incredible.
Hey, dude, isn't that awesome?
Juszczyk's wife.
Yeah, she's just like in like all that, like the arts and crafting of making all this stuff up. I'm sure you'll be looking at it on the screen right now. But she kind of does this for a lot of the wives and girlfriends in the NFL just to like do it for fun. But now it's caught wind because Taylor Swift wore it to a game, and now she's got to deal with the NFL to like make this gear.
Yeah, there's only one big loser in this whole Taylor Swift saga, and it's Big Cat. Like she has won. She's won everybody's hearts, I think. I think at first we were a little kind of peeved, like, hey, this is a little too much. Like, let's get back to the game a little bit.
Mitch was so pissed off in the beginning.
Was he?
Like, oh, it takes away from the guys who've been working their whole lives to get on the screen after they score a touchdown and they show Taylor Swift.
It was that one time when Pacheco scored and immediately it went to Taylor Swift. It
was in his hometown too, right?
No, it was when they were playing the Jets.
Okay.
It's like the first game she was at, but that part,
Mitch was livid.
But they've gotten better at it.
We almost didn't have a podcast that week because Mitch couldn't calm down.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I'm not going to produce this episode.
Like, Mitch, listen.
Taylor Swift, though, because the broadcast put her on last night, and you can see her in the suite looking at the TV, seeing herself in, like, real time, and you can see her mouth go away, like, cause she's, like, getting annoyed herself being put on the broadcast, so.
Dude, she seems like I'll just say this. She seems like a real one.
Dog, thank you for saying that.
Do you not think
really
so, JP? Look, JP seems like he's got a comment.
What are you going to say?
No, I mean, I have no idea if she's a real one.
You think it could still be theatrics?
The relationship?
Yeah.
No, the relationship could be real, but I'm just not the biggest Taylor Swift fan. I don't like hate her, but
you like her music?
I think she puts out bangers, all of that stuff, but and I know they're teaching classes about Taylor Swift now in college, like marketing, brand management, like all this stuff, how she blew up. But I just think like there's so many more talented people in that industry than Taylor Swift. And it just, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, man, like
that's a hater.
That's a hater. I think she makes good music.
You can have incredibly talented people that don't have the drive to push it in the direction she did, though. Taylor Swift started as a 16-year-old girl singing Tim McGraw and put out an album and then had the capability and the wherewithal to pivot from country music and now go into this electric pop star that has taken over the entire world to project herself into the 3 comma category in the bank account.
And going after big label.
Yes. I don't know much about that. I was just agreeing with you.
But that's a whole other thing.
Bro.
But dude,
big label created her. That's what I'm saying.
If
like,
you're talking about
without Scooter Braun, without like that marketing machine, she's a great songwriter. Does somebody with that level of talent make it all the way to the top? Yes, they screwed her, but ultimately it went really well for her.
But we're not talking about
afterwards.
the top. We're talking about 2 continental divides clashing together and growing and growing and growing, just like Mount Everest. Taylor Swift has taken the top to a new level.
Who's the other who's the other continent? Who's the divide?
That's how Mount Everest got made. The idea is Pangea, and then the two continents came together and slowly pushed themselves up. And every year, the Mount Everest grows like 6 feet or 6 inches, something like that. But it incrementally gets bigger and bigger every single year.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks, brother. I'm glad I got to explain it, because I know there's somebody in the comments going, "This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just made that whole thing up."
And like I guess that's in the game, in the world of like who's the most talented. I'm just saying, with the entire microscope on Kelsey and Swift this year, being able to kind of like watch her and observe throughout the entire year, like seeing her after the game, seeing the way it's all went down, like seeing the way the families are kind of engaged, it just seems like they have like a true relationship going on. And who knows if it's like the glitz, the glamour, everybody's caught up in the moment. Who cares? We're having fun. But they really do. Like, I don't know. I mess with. She seems like a real one.
I think her being a part of the Kelsey family is only gonna have her trend up in my own rankings, because their family seems awesome and super down to earth.
Yeah, like you saw Jason and Travis kind of talking about the first time Jason met her
Right.
last week. He's
I like all
"Fuck
that
it,"
stuff.
like, blacked out.
Yeah. But the thing too about Taylor Swift is she's not coming in there with all these designer things. Like you see so many celebrities. It's like a LA Rams game.
Nice stuff on.
She had nice stuff on,
Nice
but
stuff on.
she's rocking the clothes. She's rocking the apparel.
Yeah.
She has some custom stuff on, but she's still Chiefs. She's not sitting on her phone at the game. Every time they pan to her, she's screaming her face off.
She's at every game.
She's buying into the culture of the NFL. She's not saying be more like me. She's like, let me be more like you. And that is a super relatable thing for a person that is the star of all stars right now. Now, subjective art, right? Music is a subjective art. So am I like the biggest music Taylor Swift fan? No, it's not like what I'm into.
Whoa.
I'm just not what I'm into, dude. I'm into that, like, you know what I'm into, boys. You know what I like. But you can at least look at it and appreciate it. Because being like the most talented doesn't make you the best.
JP hates her, man. I hate when JP gets this.
Have y'all seen though the will she make the Super Bowl dilemma? There's like a whole thing because the Swift
She has to be somewhere, right?
Moves, so she's in Tokyo from the 7th to the 10th on her Eras tour. So her last show is like starts 6 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever. The 10th Tokyo time, and everyone's already been doing the math. Like she can make it back. She leaves post show in Tokyo at 11 p.m., which is 6 a.m. like U.S. time, Vegas time. Gets back with I want to say like 13 hours pre kickoff, so she has like a full night's sleep. Can make it for the 3:30 kick or whatever. So I think if she shows up after being in Tokyo for 4 days, you gotta just agree that she is a real one,
dude. And she's got all the tools to make it happen.
Oh yeah,
she's got all the resources to make sure she makes
every airport. This is gonna be yeah.
I think the only way this hurts her, is if she doesn't make it.
Yeah.
If she doesn't make it to the Super Bowl, then we got to sit on this podcast a week later being like,
the NFL
she's sitting on the tarmac. She's sitting on the runway for whatever reason. Like if the effort's there, like that's
she's got to sit on the tarmac though. I need her on that plane, and there better be a fucking weather advisory in Tokyo that's a hurricane type situation where she just can't get out.
And if you want to double up your viewership there, then you just put a camera like this is Taylor Swift. She's sitting on the tarmac. You just have that going, the Taylor watch going right next to the game.
You need another plane, just like when O.J. Simpson was running from the police. Like have a camera on the plane the whole time, keeping track of where Taylor Swift is at.
She's made it to the stadium.
Yeah. She's now halfway through the Atlantic right now. Did you go through the Pacific, right, to get back? Yeah, you go through the Pacific. Maybe stop off in Hawaii. I don't know, dude. I'm not great with geography.
Hats off to the Chiefs.
Hats off to the Chiefs. I was going to go twisted question, but we need to talk Lions and 49ers. Biggest fumbled bag of all time by Dan Campbell?
I mean, thus far, yeah. I mean, you get to the NFC Championship. I could not, I mean, you can speak to it a little bit. Being up and then not to like open a wound, but I'm saying like as a player, I feel like you're sitting there at halftime. You know you got 2 more quarters. Like, hey, you got to step on the throw. You got to keep the pedal to the metal, boys. But you're sitting there like, you know, yo, we're fucking about to be going to the Super Bowl. Like we're fucking doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of like, you know, people, whoever's at home, the families, they're starting to try to book whatever they can, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden that second half happens. Go for it on 4th and 2. It was Josh Reynolds. Is it Josh Reynolds?
Josh Reynolds, yeah.
Josh drops the ball on 4th and 2, which was like, man, why not just take the 3 points?
Yeah. You take the 3.
Analytics bites you in the ass, man. And then it sparks they go down and score, turnover, score.
Right.
And then they're literally back in it, tie ball game going into the 4th quarter.
The amount of juice that the 49ers play with in the second half was uncanny. It was incredible to see the way they were flying around. There was like bullets, missiles flying to the pile when dudes were hung up a little bit. Like there were multiple times like dudes are getting their heads fucking taken off.
Dude, Warner was
57
out there
Gets him a stinger. Who's Greenlaw?
hunting, bro.
Dre Greenlaw. He gets that stinger. This is in the first half. Gets the stinger, understands the circumstances. I got to get my ass back out there. We've all had stingers. Maybe one of the worst pains you can deal with for a moment, dude. It is. You feel like your whole body's shutting down. Then like 5 minutes, you're like, okay, I guess I'm all right. But anytime I move my head a little bit this way, it goes down again.
Yeah, like a little zap through your arm.
And they were flying around like mad dogs.
It was insane.
What an insane play.
And then that play, Brandon Ayuk, which no catch, it doesn't really matter, right? There's a flag that's going to be pass interference, so they're going to get the ball half the distance to the goal in that situation. But that is truly, that's the spark. That play right there is what sent the Lions down fucking hill, man.
And like he didn't have the best stat line, but again, like Brock makes some of these plays, man. What's dangerous is Mahomes was like, what, 30 for 39? I mean, he's just got the fucking
Insane,
look
bro.
in his eye that's terrifying. I just don't do what? Oh,
Yeah.
Kelsey's more than back. Like,
bro, he had 11 targets and 11 receptions, and they played back 3 or 4 of his catches that he had. Insane. That ball into the end zone, incredible. The one to get the first down, I believe it was on 4th or was it 3rd down? The way he reached up and went and got it.
Right there.
I, for the life of me, cannot understand why he was finding some windows, though, in that zone coverage, looking at the Ravens defense. How are you not, would you guys call it? Star?
Double the star?
Double the star?
Stars, yeah.
Like Travis, dude, all year long, the Kansas City receivers have been liabilities. Kadarius, whatever the hell his name is, Katoni, whatever his fucking name is, is on Instagram Live talking shit about a team that's going to go to the Super Bowl this year. They like, and this is no disrespect, but they have been liabilities, drop balls after drop balls. The only guy that is consistent is Travis Kelce. How are you not doubling him?
Rice is also
he's come on in what, the last 4 or 5 weeks?
He was pretty good throughout the year. Remember, Big Cat? That was one of the names that you thought was fake.
Yeah.
So like he's shown up throughout the year, but yeah, they've had drops in big moments.
That is true.
They look like the team that's just like, I mean, 4 out of the last 6 years they've been to the Super Bowl.
And you can't tell me that CMC wasn't concussed after that hit.
Yeah.
His head bounced off. Just his head bounced off the turf.
But he's such a fucking dog.
He's a dog. And he just walks up and says, "Give me one." I
Yeah.
texted him last night. I was like, "Hey, hope your head's good. Congratulations." And he just texts back, "I'm fine."
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Kelsey did, especially like he didn't have a 1,000-yard year and was kind of like, up and down at times or an injury late in the year. But dude, I mean, he always acquires his infinity stones in the playoffs. It feels like that's all that the Chiefs do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Set the record.
Set the record. I think he blew the record out, right? He had like 5 more catches than the record. And he's still got another game if he doesn't retire after this year. I think could be a possibility.
You think he retires?
I think he retires.
Might as well if you win. If you win,
It's married to Taylor Swift.
If you win,
Sunset.
bro, and he's made every fucking commercial, bro. He's in every commercial.
Every commercial,
dude, every single one, and he's not bad in them.
He gets everything.
He's every commercial, the sidekick commercial. It's solid.
Yeah,
he does a good job.
Dude,
He's good being animated, being mad.
He can act, bro.
But JJ Watt was saying, "Hey, be careful because overexposure." JJ Watt was talking about when he became big, he gets all these massive deals, films 5, 10 commercials in the offseason. Next season comes around and every other commercial is him. And people, it's like the death of overexposure. Like if you get too exposed, then people start to get annoyed. But I feel like Trav's so cool.
JJ,
man, he's so awesome.
Hey, JJ didn't have
Taylor come on our podcast.
Like this is even like usually what happens is like the Taylor Swift thing happens. You go into stardom. We won't say Taylor Swift. Then the next year, after everyone's kind of learned who you are, you get oversaturated, like you're saying. Now it's like people are finding the NFL for the first time and want to know more and more about Travis. So all these commercials are now like, it's even better. It's working in his favor as opposed to being oversaturated because people are like, oh, look at his personality. Oh, that's adorable. Oh, foot-long churro.
Their documentary on Amazon Prime.
What?
Yeah, the Kelseys. It came out like early in the year.
Last year.
Oh, did it really?
Oh, that was last year?
Yeah,
it covered last
24.
year. Yeah, it covered last year.
Man, yeah. And it's crazy that the great, like, someone we probably will eventually be talking about is who's the GOAT, Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is overshadowed by Travis Kelce right now. That's like an insane, all these crazy storylines this year, dude.
Now there is some rumblings out there. I would love your guys' taking the back. Patrick Mahomes, he wins the Super Bowl.
Andy Reid.
GOAT.
Oh,
People are trying to call for it. You had a great analogy last night, or the chat did. You enter the chat, you walk into the room, which is fair. But I think no matter what, Tom Brady
oh yeah, I agree with that.
in the head to head. I think even when, because I do think Mahomes can beat. What is it? How many times I have 7?
Yeah.
I think Mahomes can beat that.
Yeah, there was a conversation. I think part of my take had this conversation. Hank was a part of it, and he obviously didn't handle it very well. But the
Let's say
conversation,
he gets 7.
yeah, if he gets 7, look at the first 6 years of Tom Brady's career versus the first 6 years of Patrick Mahomes' career.
Now, here's the
He
thing.
hold on. Patrick Mahomes has one more win, and Tom Brady obviously has one more loss. Tom Brady's QBR is like 88.9. Patrick's in the 100s. Their touchdown to interception ratio, completely different. Pat crushes him in that situation. We're talking about the first 6 years of play, and they both have 3 Super Bowls if he wins the Super Bowl. If right now, just on how you're looking at the past, you're edging to Patrick Mahomes over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But he's got to keep the consistency for another 14 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you look at Brady, he does, like, as far as like in the amount of time, Mahomes is the most gifted quarterback, the best quarterback we've seen in like this short period in this generation. But Tom won Super Bowls in like 3 different eras. He played 24 fucking years,
That's
bro.
that's such a great tweet.
What is that right there?
It's most postseason QB wins in NFL history. The number 1 leader, Tom Brady, with 35. The next closest is Joe Montana with 16.
Yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes is gonna have to play for a few more years to even get in this conversation.
Dude,
but still, he's
He's on
still
the
coming
way.
away with
He's
the
on the
hardware
way,
at the
for
very
sure.
end.
I think Pat has the capability to catch Tom in rings way quicker than it took Tom.
Right.
Because
But Tom,
he's
24 years.
He's doing it.
And when you look at when they played head to head,
He was
Tom was what?
2-0.
45 years old?
I think he's not even 45 yet.
2-0, put 2-0 on his head.
Yeah. But you want to talk about unfortunate situations. Like, they're not putting 2-0 if D Ford's on side in that game. No question. It's a good argument.
She should be stripped.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Tom.
Yeah, you make very good points, boys. They should be
But
stripped of their
if Pat
titles.
wins it, there's no GOAT conversation. He's just entered the chat.
Yeah. Because it is super impressive. The team that we talked about all year long with the Kansas City Chiefs, the way that they're playing right now in the playoffs is like, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. I don't want to talk about who we got because we have slips and picks.
Everybody knows who I got. It's no secret.
If there's one team,
that's right. We got the hats in the shop. Go support your favorite team for the Super Bowl. Here's the Chiefs one. Trust me. Here, Taylor, you can hold the Chiefs one, or Mitch can in the back.
If there's one team that's going to beat the Chiefs, it's the 49ers.
But they've got to play
4 quarters.
4 quarters, man, because they haven't done that in the playoffs.
They haven't done it, and they can get thrown on.
They can get ran on. And Pacheco runs like a madman out there.
I posted it this morning, dude. George Kittle, I will be back here. You will not get the best of me. That, to me, this is a redemption story for George Kittle.
And they're playing the Chiefs, who they lost to
a
few years ago.
When they were up big.
They kind of had him too.
Yeah, they did have him.
Fuck.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. You want to hit this?
Yeah, should we talk about Fitbod?
Let's talk about it.
The essential your workout really needs right now is Fitbod, boys. It's a fitness app that creates completely personalized workouts that adapts as you improve. Whether you're a seasoned gym goer like myself or just starting your fitness journey like JP, Fitbod will push you to make progress. It's like having your own personal trainer, but better. It's cheaper. You can work out anywhere with or without equipment, and it's easy to build a custom fitness plan that works for you. Fitbod creates personalized workout routine based on your goals, fitness level, and available equipment. It adapts as you improve, so each workout will be challenging and push you to make progress. And it's fine-tuned by experienced, certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science to you. Add Fitbod to your workout essentials. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan. Get 25% off from the boys to you for your subscription, or try the app for free at fitbod.me/bussin. That's FITBOD.me/bussin.
Is it time? Is there redemption time for Mitch Carsley right now? For those of you just tuning in, maybe you heard about this podcast and you jumped on this your first time listening to an episode 261. Mitch Carsley has been in the fucking gutters lately. He's been absolute trash at one of the few jobs he has when it comes to this show being filmed right now while we're filming it. Your job is to come with us with a twisted question of the week presented by Twisted Tea. And how many times have you done well? 2.
I do have a question.
Maybe once.
Have you talked to your family about this? Like all the combos we've given them directly, like have you done a recap with your family based on your trivia or based on your twisted questions the last few weeks?
Yeah, they haven't. Well, like I said, I called my dad the other day and he's like,
Did he answered?
Called your dad, huh?
well, he actually called me, so but he was like, you're good though, right? Like you're not actually gonna do anything with, like, you're not gonna lose your job. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm fine.
There's your first mistake.
I was like, I might
What's the
lose.
phrase, JP? Boys, love you. Don't ever trust us.
So actually, I might be. My job might be up for grabs.
We do love you.
Call your dad.
But
We do love you.
my mom sent me an email of like 260 questions that she just copy pasted from the internet. She's texted me a shit ton.
Your mom understanding the work that goes into something like this and basically doing it for you.
No, and
You can figure that out.
Those questions that she sent me, I have seen before, and there's a reason I haven't asked any of them because I felt like they were not good. But I appreciate the help, Mom.
Okay.
So
But
you're not using one of your moms.
I am not using one of my moms. I am actually using one from my college roommate.
Okay.
Once again, not a Mitch Carsley product.
It's
Nope.
okay. He's turned over every stone to figure out what question he wants to ask to redeem himself. Because are you nervous sitting there about to deliver this question?
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Well, before you do, let me talk to you about the Twisted Question. It's brought to you by Twisted Tea, the smoothest hard iced tea out there. Kick off your New Year's right, boys, with the Twisted Tea Championship season. Dude, keep it twisted with Twisted Tea. Kick off your 2024 with Twisted Tea today.
The boys will be on site too, I believe, with the meet and greet. Twisted Tea, brought to us by Twisted Tea out in Vegas.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, Twisted Tea, incredible partners.
how stoked are you to get those custom jackets?
So fired up.
When are we gonna get there?
Dude, that's, you tell me. You're the one. If you want to talk about other things that you're dropping the ball on, we can talk about. We were supposed to get a dirt bike. We went to Supercross in the summertime, and we were getting this deal done with Twisted Tea.
Why did we go to Supercross?
We go to Supercross because Mitch loves Supercross.
Yeah, Mitch loves Supercross, and he brought
Yeah.
that idea. Yeah, that's
brought
right.
the
This
idea to
is all
everybody.
Mitch, yeah.
So we have a couple of Supercross guys on there. They're outstanding. They're a fun time. We go to it. We go to the Suzuki area where they're showing us the Twisted Tea area, and I'm like, this would be sick. And we let them know we would love to have just a decked out 450 Suzuki Twisted Tea edition. Let us get that. That's amazing. You know your boy grew up with the dirt bike.
Yeah.
I was into that.
You broke your foot.
Broke my foot, broke my hand, broke my wrist, broke both my wrists one time, broke a collarbone. I had 27 broken bones. Not cool. I'm a big tough guy. It doesn't matter. Mitch was put on the assignment to do what, Mitch?
I wouldn't know if I was put
Get
on
the
the
motorcycle.
assignment.
You were put in position. We said, hey, Mitch, you handle this. You have the contacts at motocross. You have the contact. Talk to them and get this thing done. Hey, it's going to be here in August. Hey, it'll be here by December. Hey, it might be here before Christmas. Get excited, Taylor. Need you to sign this waiver. Waiver signed. It is now January 29th. And while you're watching this, it's the 30th. And I promise you tomorrow a fucking dirt bike will not be here. So it's January 30th. And we still don't have that. That being said, Mitch, what's your twisted question of the week?
All right. Twisted question of this week. This one comes from my college roommate, Mike Dietrich. Would you rather suck a dick on live television or have your leg amputated from the hip down?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Wait, well, who gave it to you?
My college roommate, Mike Dietrich.
Hey, shout Mike Diedrich.
Dietrich, yeah.
Shout out Mike Diedrich, dude. Great question. Thank you, Mike. If you're
Saves
looking,
Mitch's job.
if you're looking for a job, Mike, and you know how to produce, hit us up, dude. I don't know if you guys were in the same thing at school at Saskatoon or wherever it was.
Saskatoon, you.
Suck a dick on live television, cable.
Live television stream. This is national. Millions. The most viewed thing the entire decade.
Start to finish,
Start to finish.
or get your leg amputated from the hip.
From the hip down.
I know my answer. You know your answer?
Gag me, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Take my leg.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because Now I'm in a position to write a book, be a hero, get one of those cool little tink tink legs put on me, and then now I'm in the Special Olympics, winning the 400 meter, whipping the 100 meter, just absolutely.
Oh, you think you're just gonna show up and beat these dudes?
Yeah. What is it? Oh, the Paralympics. My fault. I might be in both, dude. I might be the first person to be a dual Olympic guy like that.
You don't think I'll be able to write a book and capitalize on sucking dick?
You could, but you'd be like the rest of them.
Yeah, but everybody's like, yo, Will had to do what he had to do to save his leg.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like some people would, they just
like
take that chop.
127 hours. It's like 50. You just the book's called 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How I got myself in this position and how I choked myself out to get out.
Yeah, bro. Like
they're ready to make a movie about it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what you're down. You spend 5 minutes saving your own life, basically. Yeah.
Oh, bro, we all know, dude.
Honestly, I'd say
the best dick, probably.
Honestly, probably a couple. Yeah, I mean, come on, we don't got to be tough guys.
No,
every guy knows that we can do it.
People are really turned off to what you're saying right now. Go ahead and explain. Just in case people are a little worried.
Dudes know that, like, everybody's like, yo, you think you could do a better blowjob than your other, and it's like, well, yeah, because we know exactly what we want.
Exactly what you want, because you don't have to go that deep.
Yeah,
just hit the tip, get after that thing pretty hard and fast.
That Gluck Gluck 9000.
Yeah. Just letting you know, might change my answer now.
So I'm saying they'll be getting that year 10. Come on.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
They'll get the year 10 treatment.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's what we'll coin it after the job is done.
They'll almost finish, but then they won't.
The Glug Glug 9000. No, bro. You don't think I'm getting that thing to completion?
I'm just trying. But you then give them year 9.
No, but I'm saying the Glug. How everybody talks about the Glug Glug 9000, it would now be coined the year 10.
Oh, I got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sorry. No disrespect. No disrespect. No disrespect. I don't want to.
Yeah. Oh, now I see what you were saying. Almost there but can't finish. I see what you're saying, you motherfucker.
That's just my bad. My bad. No. Good question to your friend. That was great. I might change my answer.
What are you guys doing?
Head.
I'm getting my leg amputated.
Dude.
Because just think the technology in prosthetics nowadays. You damn near have another leg.
He's an Iron Man.
No, I'm still like.
There's not like a robotic leg that you're gonna be able to afford. Also, when you lose a leg, especially something that takes up probably 20 to 25% of your body, your life expectancy drops significantly.
I love that data point right there. That's a great point for that argument.
To live a fruitful life.
Yeah, suck to live, dude. 2024.
Yeah, like you said, it's like 15 minutes, or it's you struggling to walk around for the rest of your life.
Not struggling. You might not be struggling.
And it's up to your hips, so an ass cheek is gone.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's also like you got to think.
Think about shitting.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also.
I'd like to have a little nub.
You'll have to have some cleaner to wipe some of the shit off of the.
But no, I'm saying like if you do it on live television, that is going all over the social media. That is going all over everything. Like your kids will see that. You're gonna be seen like, oh, you were the guy that sucked a dude off on live television.
Mitch, it'll be so much like, yeah, that'll happen momentarily. But that twisted question right there will be the most iconic twisted question of all time, because it won't even be about you anymore. It'll be everybody else saying this guy did what he had to do, and then everybody just arguing about it, making it about their own selves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I'll just be sitting back like, hey, I
did it.
I did what I had to do.
Save your leg. The life expectancy thing does sway me a little bit, but I got this knee pain right here. I'm thinking if you take the leg, no more knee pain.
Coming back. With no leg,
he's been
here full time.
I'll let you guys know he's been around a little bit lately.
Really?
He's been around. The knee been hurting a little bit. He's been popping up here and there. We won't get into it. So,
oh God, Jerry Ainsworth.
Bro. So yeah, take my leg.
Good question.
Should we get into, I mean, we're looking at a 3.5 hour podcast now, boys.
I do believe that we have like
yeah, we
have some ads. We have some big ads.
Shout out for Optimum. And then
all right, we'll do shout out real quick for Optimum Nutrition. Ready to unlock more in 2024, adding Gold Standard 100% whey protein by Optimum Nutrition to your workout gives you 24 grams of high quality protein to support muscle building and recovery in rich, delicious flavors. An essential piece for building a routine that can help you get more with your workouts. Available at your favorite stores like Walmart, Amazon, and at OptimumNutrition.com. Put the world's #1 sports nutrition brand to the test. Optimum Nutrition. Now we're bringing it back. We do it last week.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it last week. Week two of bringing it back. Shout out, no free shout out. Let's start off with Mitch.
Let me pull up my list here.
Mine was an experience I had last night after the 49ers Lions game, but it is when, and this is a lost art because cable television is less and less and streaming is king now, but it's when you tune into a movie that just started on cable that's a good one. And it was The Day After Tomorrow, if you remember that, with Jake Gyllenhaal. No, it's what's his name? The guy who's in Parent Trap, who's the dad, and Jake Gyllenhaal. But it's like this huge like geostorm type scenario comes, but not about the movie. But it's just when you tune in, it's like the first 5 minutes of a movie. You're like, okay, I can strap in. Then I also forgot how awful commercials are on cable TV.
Oh,
It's like every 12 minutes, just
Dennis Quaid.
yes. But that is my shout out, never shout out.
that's a great movie. What is the movie I was gonna say with Tom Cruise, where he wakes up every day after he gets killed?
Mission Impossible. Oh, I know you're talking about with that
Great-
actress too.
Yes, it's a
From,
great movie.
From Quiet Place.
Yeah, the blonde chick.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that
We can just Google it, right?
yeah, but it's more funny.
Yeah, it is more fun to play this game. It's like
It's a newer one too. Like it
Yeah,
came
and it's
out, like,
really
the last,
good.
Like 5-10 years. No.
That's like Alien.
Yeah, you might as well.
what is it, JP?
Time's sake.
Edge of Tomorrow. I wouldn't have got that. But that's a great movie. I feel like people still sleep on Tom Cruise.
You think so?
I think they do because of Scientology stuff. People still
They just
sleep on him though.
they
He's
just
so
don't.
he's such an elite actor. He's so
Like,
good.
The Scientology thing makes people talk about him even more.
I know, but I feel like because they talk about the Scientology thing, it takes away from how good of an actor he is to some people. Like people don't want to give him as much flowers because they think there's a kookiness that comes along with Tom Cruise.
There's got to be a cookiness here.
Got to be a little mental.
Yeah, you got to be a little off the rocker.
Acting would be so much fun to be able to do one of those roles, like a cool role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not like a Brokeback Mountain role, but like a cool, like, you know, Mission Impossible type thing.
Yeah.
You know,
300.
yeah, that'd be sick.
Mitch, what's your shout out?
My shout out, no free shout out, goes to the flyovers in football pregame. Those, like, especially when you're at the game, like when we were at Notre Dame or whatever it was, just like that just is automatic goosebumps no matter what. And it doesn't even have to be a sick plane. It's just a plane flying over a stadium. There's nothing more America.
Yeah, it could be like a little small 172 ripping by, but you know what the intent is there.
Yeah, and like the stealth bomber going over the Rose Bowl, like that was totally insane.
They cut the flyover short in the Chiefs game yesterday. Like the best part, Rise going over the stadium commercial. I was like, this
What?
fucking terrorist.
It's the world we live in now, Jack.
America.
What you got, JP?
Mine goes to good icebreaker games when you're with all new people. We were in the situation last night. It was a great game. Everybody was in a circle. Two people are lined up face to face, and on the count of 3, they both say the first word that comes to their mind. So we'll say 1, 2, 3. I say taco. You say football. I have to turn to my person. Now I'm with Mitch. We can't say those 2 words. We have to think of a word. What word comes to our head when we hear football and taco? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, tailgate. So that's exactly what happened last night. Me and Sit and hit it. But it was just like we were in a room of people we didn't know, and the icebreaker just brought everyone together. And
It's a solid game.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Never heard of that. That's all. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
I know who I am.
That's a great game. But I had a similar situation like that at the Chandler's house for New Year's. They had a bunch of people over. We didn't know anybody. We knew a couple of people, but we ended up playing Werewolf for legit 2 hours. And I was like the guy obviously doing it because it was like me and Talon who knew the game really well. And that really opened it up for everybody.
Yeah.
And they got that
We're
kind of
also-
nervous.
Yeah, it's a
You
great.
can only do so many, hey, where you're from, how many kids you got, what do you do for a job conversations before you're like, let me just move on, go sit in the bathroom for 10 minutes on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go take a shit.
Yeah, yeah.
My shout out, no free shout out, is going to be throwing the dad hat.
Go ahead.
My shout out, no free shout out, is when the new dads out there rep our hats or rep our merch and they post about it when they have a kid on social media,
Yes.
tagging us and everything else. That's not me trying to farm. People continue to do it,
But
but it does fire me up that people are like, hey, just became a new dad, and they're like repping a hat that either their wife got them or whatever. They're sitting there holding their newborn. That juices the boy up. So that's my shout out, no free shout out, and go buy our dad merch.
There's a bunch of new dads at the gym I go to, and I guess it's Garrett. He's just like spreading the good word, and so many guys have dad hats, and it fires me up. It's like, damn, it's like,
dude, so like women, anybody that are seeing me like wear this girl dad hat around, that just compliment like, hey, I love that hat. Like, where'd you get it from? Like, oh, the Barstool store.
Yeah. You know who's a girl dad? Sharon
boy.
Moore, head coach of the University of Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Got a couple headed his way right now.
no shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We got to start getting all the dads that come on the bus. I know we've talked about it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the dads who come on the bus, we get them some gear right when they're here. Maybe even get a little dad story out of them.
We need to just have a dad segment.
Yes.
Just really dive in, like a therapy dad session. We'll brainstorm.
Yeah. If you want to vent about your child,
Yeah.
if you want to give a shout out to your child, it doesn't always have to be positive.
No.
It's whatever we want it to be.
Because if you're expressing something that bothers you, there's a bunch of other dads out there feeling the same way. And when they don't feel alone, you don't feel alone.
Right.
And that's how you build community.
And fatherhood is the highest of highs and lowest of lows. We all got to be together.
Speaking of community, my school needs to figure out the wave again. They've really dropped the ball. They went really strong after my couple of weeks of doing the wave and putting on Instagram. They've dropped the ball on waving back. It went really good for a while, but now I got dudes in trucks not waving back. And I just feel like if you're going to have a pickup truck, if you're going to own a Chevy Silverado, you've got to know and be aware when the wave is coming and give it back. It has to be reciprocated.
Mhm.
There's a different standard when you're driving a pickup truck. So let me just say that.
You're trying to make the wave a thing.
I'm just not trying to make it a thing. I'm trying to bring it back. I'm trying to bring back community. And that goes into my shout out, no free shout out.
Similar to the boat wave.
My shout out, no free shout out is America. I feel like there's yes, I've been watching that video. Literally, I caught myself on YouTube. Talon hit me up the other day because Talon likes to dive into the news and all the scariest. Respect, because someone's got to, because I'm not gonna. Apparently, there's a whole bunch of people going down to Texas, and there's like a civil war on the horizon. We're talking about WW3 and all that. Somewhere along the lines of our childhood, we decided that it's not cool to love America. It's like no longer a cool thing to do. And I found myself on YouTube watching highlight videos, the good video, different sort of military videos of why people are fighting for the freedoms that we have. Now, this is not a Proud Boy situation. It is just me saying we need to, regardless of what country you are born in, there needs to be a sense of pride and patriotism, whether you're from Canada, Mexico, Spain, America, of I was born here and we might have our flaws, but goddamn it, I love where I'm from, and these are the reasons why I love it. You don't get in a relationship. You know Charles got problems. I know Taylor's got a couple things she's got to work on. I still love her to death. I'm still in a happy marriage, that type of thing. So I'm just saying, shout out America, dude. Shout out America.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good fandom for America.
Yeah, one way.
Yeah. Is there really like talks of civil war and shit like that?
Allegedly. No, you know me. Taylor hit me up with like, hey, what do we do in a crisis? Like, what if we get invaded? I'm like, oh, we're the extras in the movie that get ended. Like, we're the people running as like, something blows us up. And like, oh, I think that might have been Taylor and Taylor.
I got that algorithm going on right now.
Yeah,
Election year coming. People start getting that algorithm.
Right.
Because I saw the tweet talking about the Civil War, World War III, and I'm just thinking like, what? There's something
Taylor
going on.
said that. And I sent her video after video. She's on the plane. She went to Canada this weekend. And I just sent her a bunch of videos of just why we don't have free healthcare and why like you're gonna find out why you're gonna find out if you fuck with America. And she thinks it's so lame because like obviously she's from Canada and she's like, you guys just think you're so tough. It's like, fucking try us then, because we'll fucking end it, dude. And so shout out America, man. Don't actually try us, because I would hate that, but if you do.
We start talking about the Stu Feiner episode, kick it off to Stewie.
Yeah.
This is a long podcast. I appreciate, shout out everybody who stuck with us through every minute. This episode you are going to love from Stu Feiner. Arguably one of the greatest hustlers of our generation. You could also argue maybe con artist of our generation as well. He dabbles in both. You can make your own decision. This is an incredible story. Stu, we were blessed to have him on the bus. He told everything. I do feel like he covered everything from start to finish. There's definitely a lot of gaps he can probably fill in that we had questions on at the end.
Like, did he kill somebody?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is 2 hours and 45 minutes of Stu Feiner sharing his story, and being an incredible storyteller. Thank you for tuning in. Continue to watch. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Don't forget to subscribe, leave comments, tell your friends, and also don't forget about that Rumble profile.
Yeah, Rumble.
Cars.com is a leading digital marketplace that connects car shoppers with their perfect car, celebrating 25 years of helping shoppers research, find inventory, finance, and sell cars. Wherever life takes you next and whoever you're looking to be, there's a car for that on Cars.com. Up to 50,000 cars are added daily to Cars.com. Shop over 2 million cars for 2 million possibilities. Find your next possibility right now on Cars.com. Where to next? The Stu Feiner episode.
I believe Mitch, the producer, just told us we are rolling. We are Stu
Feiner.
Welcome
Welcome to Bussin with the Boys.
Glad to have you, dude. Glad to have you.
It's an honor. It's a pleasure.
This is a very special treat because you are a very unique individual. Coming into the Barstool world, getting to know you from the outside looking in. You have a couple bumps where the stuff with women and stuff like that, to where you're getting to know Stu and you're like, yo, who is this fucking whack job a little bit in the very beginning. Then you get to know Stu and you see how much you always show your appreciation and gratitude, which is very real and authentic. It's like you learn that in person, the way you just embrace, throw compliments, do all the things to where you're just like, oh, Stu's like a fucking awesome dude. He's just got a couple screws loose every now and then. But this dude, correct me if I'm wrong, but Two for the Money, the movie, which we'll get into, loosely based around your come up in the sports gambling world.
It wasn't even loosely. I mean, the movie does not exist without me. I'm the star of the movie. I mean, if you watch that movie, it's all about me. It's a disgruntled employee standpoint on him working for me. That's the movie. So without me, there is no movie.
Which character are you?
Al Pacino.
Okay, so you're Al Pacino. Who's your young?
You want to start from the very beginning of my life? You want to go right into this right now?
Where do you want to jump?
I was good because I have not seen the movie. I'm gonna watch it as soon as this show's
Great
over.
movie.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Okay.
But I'd like to go. Let's start early. Grew up in Long Island?
No. So I grew up in Brooklyn, 2662 West 2nd Street, in a 6-story apartment building that Fred Trump owned, Donald Trump's father. Mm-hmm. And my father, oddly enough, was friends with Fred Trump. My father certain times had trouble paying the rent, and Fred would let him slide. So my father had a relationship with Fred Trump when I was a little boy, and quite interesting. And to live in a 6-story apartment building in Brooklyn was quite interesting. It was only me and my brother, and predominantly Jewish. All Jewish. So my friends were Jewish. Well, the school I went to was PS 216 in Brooklyn, all Jewish. I was born in Maimonides Hospital. And it was a very interesting, tight-knit family group. On the 6th floor, you knew everybody. Trick-or-treating, you trick-or-treated the 6th floor, then the 5th floor, then the 4th floor, then the 3rd floor. You stayed in your apartment building. Outside of the apartment building would be where all the parents hung out, just on lounge chairs during the summer, and everybody just played on the grass, played tackle football, played wiffle ball, played kickball. So that was my upbringing in Brooklyn. We were there until March of 4th grade. Mm-hmm. And then we left there and moved to Long Island, Farmingdale, Long Island. Really, my house was in North Massapequa. Yeah, we moved into the Viceroy homes. It was a 425 home area where there was one way in and one way out. And I have a lot of scars on me from Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. My father loved me, loved my brother, loved my mother. No issue about that. But was a rageaholic. Very physical. Physical with me and my brother. Physical with my mother. And I think that really, that made me extremely insecure and not trusting inherently anyone. because I was, let's see, 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old. And I remember my mother screaming in the bedroom, Stewie, call the cops. Your father's hitting me. Meanwhile, I'm fucking 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you supposed to do? And in those days, so now what do we talk? I was born in 61. So this was probably right around when the Mets won the World Series, 69, 68, right around there. And obviously as a young child, you know, you're taught to say nothing.
Mm.
You know, you're taught, you know, I was taught at least. If things are rough, things are bad, you don't say anything. You don't, what happens in the house stays in the house. But as I went to therapy when I was much older, you know, they taught me that, you know, is very abusive and very inappropriate. And it wasn't appropriate for your father to be physical with you and your brother, and for that matter, physical with your mother.
And keeping all that stuff in.
Correct. Like you couldn't, you know, then there was no issue to tell the teacher or to tell anyone for that matter. So we moved to North Massapequa, and the first day there was a total fucking horror show. Like, to this moment, I remember it and I feel it like it happened 5 seconds ago, especially when I talk about it. So father goes to work. It's the first time we own a house. We're on like an 80 by 100 piece of property and a nice house. Very nice. We go to what's called the Dairy Barn. Me, my brother, my mother. It was a freestanding building, and they used to sell milk in these glass bottles and iced tea in the glass bottles. And also, it was almost like a very small 7-Eleven. You drove in, it was a drive-through. You got your stuff, donuts, bread, milk, iced tea, butter, the essentials.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the house, and in the driveway is written the word kike in crab apples. And there's like 10 kids opposite my house hiding in the bushes. And first of all, I have no idea what that word means.
Mm-hmm.
My mother sure as fuck does, because she immediately starts crying. So me and my brother are now like, what's going on? And then she's like hustling us up to the front door so that we can get in the house so we don't see what it is. She puts the glass milk down and the glass iced tea down. And in our gutter, right in front of the screen door that you have to open to get into the regular door, there's an umbrella hanging there. She opens the screen door and crab apples and rocks come down and smash the iced teas and the milk, shatter the bottles. So now me and my brother are crying because, you know, there's a whole to do. She runs in the house, calls my father. My father flies home from New York City. He had a place on 37th between 7th and 8th. At the time, he worked for a place called Letterama. They made letters and signs, and they had a couple of major accounts. They had Madison Square Garden and HBO. And they had Chase Bank, and they had a couple of other banks that they made every sign for. So every sign at HBO, every sign at Madison Square Garden, this company did. And I would go into work with my father and help him and so on and so forth. When I was young, took the train in, the whole to-do. My father comes flying home, and he's steaming right now. And as a kid, me and my brother knew that the signals that my father was going to either hit us or hit my mother or just trash the fucking house was that he would bite down on his lip. And, you know, that was the sign. So and the minute he bit down on his lip, like me and my brother would run into our room. In Brooklyn, we had the same room, 2 beds. In this new house in North Massapequa, we had separate rooms. We'd hide literally in the closets under the bed because we knew we were going to get a fucking beating. So he comes home and he's like screaming at my mother as if she did something. What happened? Tell me what happened. What happened? She tells him. And then he drags me and my brother like a cartoon movie by the back, like we were cubs and he was like a bear holding us. We went to every single door across the street, down our block, which was Abbott Street. And then we were surrounded by East Drive and West Drive, all these things. And he just started screaming at the parents saying, who did this? And of course, now the parents are not confrontational at all. They're very, you know, like apologetic. And so that was March of 4th grade. So obviously now we're hated in the fucking neighborhood, me and my brother. A, because we're Jews. There was no Jews in the fucking neighborhood. I'm talking zero. Almost like the movies, like, you know, Christ, killers, you know, kikes, you know, dirty Jews, so on and so forth. My father explained to us what that word means. And all the kids got punished. So now we got to walk to the fucking bus stop, and we were like shunned, me and my brother, for good 4th grade, 5th grade, into the summer of 6th grade, where we hung out with just a very small contingent of Jews and other kids that didn't live in Viceroy, that heard what happened but felt bad for us. So we were like short, little, chubby kids and non-athletic at the time. So I figured out people pleasing and being nice to people and overly nice would at least get my foot in the door so that people wouldn't piss on me and call me a kike and call me a Jew and just, you know, whatever. And in Viceroy, in North Massapequa, so we're talking 1970, there was cliques. There was the little mafia, L&M boys, where their fathers were in the mafia. Paul Castellano, who was depicted as Don Corleone in the movie The Godfather, lived in Massapequa. He lived on the water in Massapequa. So every bar, there was like little social clubs, Italian social clubs, and it was the little mafia. Then you had the freaks. Then you had the kids that were long hair, smoking pot, hanging out. Then you had the jocks. And then you had the nerds and the geeks, which were the smart kids. Mm-hmm. They were called at the time a word we do not use anymore, like faggots. We don't use that word. It had nothing to do with sexual preference at all. Nothing. It had to do with they were smart, they were geeks, they were not like us, they weren't little L&Ms, they weren't jocks, you know, and they weren't freaks. They were, you know, smarties. So there was cliques, very cliquey cliques. And everybody was white. There was not really prominently any blacks or any Spanish or any other ethnicities then. So finally in 7th grade, I was watching something on TV where it had these bodybuilders. And I used to get the bodybuilding magazines. And I made my father buy me these sand weights. They used to be plastic weights and they were filled with sand. So he got me a bench and he got me these sand weights. And I just went to work. You know, I went to work, and in 7th grade, from 6th grade to 7th grade, I grew. I went from like 4'10" to 5'5". I'm the exact same size right now that I was in 7th grade. So I started working out with the weights, and I wanted to be cool. So I went to the flea market, and you also had the leather jacket group. And those were the coolest group, I thought, because they looked fucking cool in the leather jackets, and they were tough guys.
It's like a John Travolta from Grease kind of vibe.
Literally, yeah. Okay. Literally. So I got a leather jacket, went into school that Monday, and got my fucking teeth kicked in. I got put headfirst into the fucking lockers, kicked in the balls, beat the fuck out of. They're like, listen, you fucking kike, you Jew, you ain't wearing a fucking leather. You ain't wearing this black leather jacket ever. I see this wearing again, and you're a fucking dead man. So, of course, the next day, I fucking never wore the leather jacket again. I went back to the flea market, and I exchanged it for a bomber jacket, which was still very cool. Mm-hmm. But getting my ass kicked by the, so when we went to school, it was still 7th, 8th, 9th grade. 9th grade was still in the junior high school. It wasn't in the high school. Now it's, now it is. It's 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Then it wasn't. It was 7th, 8th, 9th. Getting my ass kicked in my mind, you had a lot of time to think about it. And when the teachers came and when the dean came and when the principal came and when the person who runs detention came, I didn't rat no one out. They were like, who did this to you? Show me who did, like it was, show me who did this. I want to know who did this. And I just shut my fucking mouth because I knew enough from watching movies that my father watched that, like you just don't rat out on people. It was never told to me not to, but I knew how bad I got my ass kicked in, and I figured, God forbid, if I ratted these people out, what would happen? So, shut my mouth, wore my bomber jacket. And then, probably middle of 7th grade, I started boxing. And in this, the area, it was called Allen Park, they had a little boxing ring. And some guy would come down and teach you how to box. And I was super good. I was great. I would super fast. I was able to get hit in the face, not get hurt, and I was able to punish people. And my father loved boxing. My father, I didn't watch college football until I was probably 17 years old. There was no college football in the house. There was NFL football, and it was a religion on Sunday. On Saturday, we did the leaves. We cleaned up the outside of the house. We cleaned up the inside of the house, got all the chores out of the way. So my father worked Monday through Friday. And then on Sunday, we watched football. And my father was an Oakland Raider fan and a Minnesota Viking fan. I became a Raider fan. My brother became a Viking fan. And football being violent at the time, the object of football was you literally knocked out the best player on the other team by any means. Clothesline, dirty hit, after the whistle hit, didn't fucking matter. So in my head, that's how I thought life was. That, so 7th grade, an 8th grader gave me a hard time and he was pushing me. And then one shot, I knocked the fucking kid out cold. Knocked him out fucking cold. I hit him one shot and he was on the fucking floor unconscious. And I just walked the fuck away. And then his brothers that were in 9th grade came after me. And I literally must have had 100 fights in 7th grade with the 8th graders and the 9th graders. And I held my own against every fucking one of them. And as it shows you how crazy it was, I only got respect then. I didn't rat them out and I could hold my own. So now all of a sudden, I was making a name for myself where if you were going to fucking fight with this fucking guy, you better jump him or you better fucking hit him cheap. So, in the neighborhood, the people still weren't coming to my house, weren't hanging out with me. They were jocks. They were excellent athletes. They were at a very young age stars, whether it was the PAL or it was flag football, whatever it was. They would hang out like maybe 4 houses away from me for 10 kids with a basketball playing. They wouldn't fucking talk to me. And then one day, one of them came over to me and was giving me a hard time for no reason. And this kid was known for wearing steel tip boots. So this is now 1973. And somehow he picked a fight with me. And I was crushing this kid. But he kicked me, first time I've ever seen someone kick in my life. Like almost like a Bruce Lee movie. He kicked me in my fucking hand and like broke one of my fingers. So then I just jumped him and started biting him and like poking him in the fucking eye like it was fake wrestling, because you used to watch that fake wrestling, Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of his friends jumped on me. And at that moment, I just went psycho. I fucking held my own against all 3 of them. And after that moment, everybody in the fucking neighborhood loved me. Everybody in the fucking neighborhood loved me. So that's really how I made my bones as Stu Feiner. Like, I was a superstar in the neighborhood, like, so much so that that fight was on, let's say, a Saturday. I went into school Monday, my first period, everybody clapped when I walked in. Like,
did you
literally clapped.
Did you end up putting on the leather jacket again?
No, never. No.
Couldn't do it?
No, it was, it was one of those things where I just didn't need it after that. I wanted to do it to be accepted, and then it just wasn't. And then I looked at these leather jacket kids like they were fucking punks, be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
They were punks,
Were you somebody looking for fights more, like once you took on boxing and then realized you could whoop people's ass?
All 7th, all 8th grade, I beat the fuck out of so many people. Head first into lockers, beat senseless after school. We meet at this time, be a circle crowd.
It's like a movie.
It was literally like, I was like, let's say if I had 114 fights, I was like 100 wins, 14 losses, But I want to explain. Then when you fought, you would literally say to the person, you had enough? Give. And the person would say, give, and you get up.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like these things in the late 70s where I was in Long Island, where we started carrying knives, started carrying bats. There was no rules. You beat the person until they were unconscious. Everyone would jump on and kick them in their face and everything. It wasn't like that. It was like a square fight. It was like, once the person said it's over, it's over. So that's really how it was. And I started getting in trouble in school, obviously. In my junior high school, Mr. Valentine, he was the dean. This lowlife, scumbag, piece of shit cocksucker. I hope he died, and I hope it was violent. Like he got hit by a car, and the bumper caught his leg, and he was dragged with his face like skin, because this is what this piece of shit would do. You would hear this. Stu Feiner, please come down to the principal's office. So, first time, I didn't know what that meant. This guy legally would take a fucking wooden paddle, bend me over, hold my hands, and whack me on my ass 10 times. That happened. That didn't stop until I was in 11th grade, and they stopped it in that school. So what are we talking? 1977 that went on until.
Do you remember the first time he paddled you?
Yeah, fuck yes.
What was that process like when he was like, "Hey, bend over"? Were you just like,
I was
"What?"
shit.
Yeah.
I went home to my father, and my father said, "What'd you do?"
No shit.
That's how it used to be. That's how it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, authority had all the power over children. Parents would just go with the teachers. It was wild.
Mm-hmm.
It was so helpless. And so.
Did you deserve some of the paddle beatings at the time in the 70s?
Never deserve a paddle beating from an adult. No.
That's tough.
Never. Like, when I got in trouble in high school, you sit in a detention every day. You have no breaks. You have no lunch. You eat your lunch in there, and you'd go every day. And then after school, you would go. Fine. You'd have to write these ridiculous things.
Yeah.
You'd have
Simpson on the chalkboard.
Literally.
Yeah.
Just do work just to work.
But
don't look around. Don't talk to anybody.
Physical abuse. So, like, I learned really quick. I asked other people that were getting paddles, what do you do? Because it fucking hurt. My ass was fucking red as fuck. And they said, have a pair of sweatpants in your locker. The minute they call your name, run to your locker, go to the bathroom, take your pants down, put your sweatpants under it, and put your pants back on. It hurts less. So that
teachers were allowed to paddle at this time.
Literally.
Just for no, like, hey, I'm ready to fucking whoop
up on Stu Feiner.
Yes.
So this is no holds bar. Because
No.
I think about paddling, I think for whatever reason, I'm thinking about a nun with a ruler on the knuckles type
Well, they
thing.
did it too, but no, this was a basic public school.
Really?
Literally. It was surreal. It was, teachers were able to hit you in class even. Up until my school, probably 8th grade, they stopped. 8th grade. Physically. If you were talking, I was always the class clown. I was always telling jokes. I was always disruptive. So the teachers would come over to me like behind and hit me in the head, like smack me. Similarly, you see the movies, this is not, it's not uncommon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that my son, I have 4 sons, 34 now, 32, 28, 24. My oldest was valedictorian and went to Brown and then got his master's and PhD at Buffalo. And before he went to Brown, he did something called Teach for America, where you'd go to the worst parts of the country. He was in Selma, Alabama, and he taught children. His class would be like 70 kids, predominantly black, 20 fucking desks. So 50 kids would sit on the fucking floor. And they would threaten him and they would do all crazy stuff. I remember he kept calling me going, I got to get out of here. This is crazy. The parents would come in and say, if my kid gets out of line, you can hit him with the stick. You can hit him with an actual stick. And that would calm them down. My son's like, I'm not hitting anybody. It's crazy. And he quit. So, I mean, it was very prominent physical abuse by people in authority to children. That was their way. That was, and a lot of times that was the Southern way all the way up till, so he graduated in 2007. So it was going on in 2008. That's not that long ago. Hit him with I think it was called a twitch. It was like a long stick that you would snap on the person.
Yeah, it'd have to be like smaller than the width of your thumb, right?
I don't actually know what it was, but I know that they wanted him to use it. And one of the, so he was there, he lasted like a month. And then he went to 7-Eleven to get a coffee. And one of the big students there that was like bigger than him threatened him. And then he said, Dad, I got to come home. So he came home and then he went to Brown. So where I grew up, I felt a lot of abuse. I felt an outcast. And for being a Jew, for not being athletic, for not being physical. And thank God I had the ability with the weights. I taught myself how to work out, how to fight, and how to protect myself. Come 9th grade, it switched on me because it was a big problem because I didn't grow. So now all these kids that I kicked their fucking ass,
right?
They're like double the size of me. But I beat them so bad in 7th and 8th grade that at least they remembered that, so they didn't touch me. But I knew at that point, I had to find another way. Watching football with my father was a psycho experience because if the Raiders, because I was always a Raider fan with them, Oakland Raiders, 72, 73, 74, 75, fucking Steelers kept beating us in fluke fashions, whether it was the Franco Harris catch, whether it was just Bradshaw being better than us, whether it was just whatever it took. When the Raiders lost on a Sunday, he would trash the fucking house and beat me and my brother and my mother. Now, when I say he wouldn't be punching my mother. He would grab her in her hands and just for no reason, he would just be unhinged as if he bet hundreds or thousands of dollars on the games, but he never bet in his life. He was just a rageaholic. He had that passion. He had that energy. And I think that's where I get it from. I get it from being a performer. I get it from being a people pleaser, wanting to be liked, going out of my way to be nice to people, because that's the right thing to do, because I was shown my whole life how people are abusive to people. People are not actually nice inherently. I think it's because of the way they were raised, the way their parents were raised, and it's just generational. They were abused. Their grandparents abused them. Their great-grandparents abused the parents. And it's like a chain. That's why they say, when you go to therapy. I've been in therapy since 1984. And I was taught this. And, they always taught me that I have to let go of my father issues. For a man, I was taught you have to deal with your father issues. You have to deal with what happened, and you have to let it go. You can't carry around that anger because it's your father. And that was very, very hard to do for me. To this day, I love my father. I take care of my father. My father's incontinent right now, so when he comes to my house, he shits in his pants. It's a fucking mess. In my house, no one fucking helps me. I clean that fucking diaper. I clean it up. I put a new fucking diaper on him. I clean the fucking mess. And we go back to watching football. So, you know, part of me is like, why are you doing this? When you were a little kid, he didn't fucking have your back, really. So when we were watching the Raiders, I watched football much differently than other kids down the street because I knew if the Raiders didn't win or if the Minnesota Vikings didn't win, which lost 4 fucking Super Bowls, there was a fucking problem. There was a real fucking problem. So I watched the game. I watched every single play. I watched every nuance. I watched everything. And my father taught me, similar to how the Oakland Raiders played, similar to how the Pittsburgh Steelers played, violence and violent defense and running the ball win Super Bowls. So I had that. It was almost like going to school for what I eventually became, which was a sports advisor, picking games. Like I was, so when the Raiders won the Super Bowl in 1976, it was John Madden's only Super Bowls, Kenny Stabler's only Super Bowl, Fred Blitnikoff, that whole team, Marv Hubbard. I've never seen my father so happy. And my goal in life always was to make my father happy. Because if my father's happy, then everybody's happy. There is no problems. My mother was the direct opposite. My mother was a saint. My mother was the nicest person I've met in your life. My mother loved everyone, taught me to love everybody unconditionally, taught me to help the less fortunate, taught me to go out of my way. It's one of the main reasons I never saved money. I could have been a billionaire. I was making $1 million when I was fucking 23 years old, and I was pissing away $1.1 million because I gave it all away. I had a big entourage, I had a big friend gathering, and I hung with them. I took them to Super Bowls. I spent $50,000 on Super Bowls. I went to 18 Super Bowls. We'd sit in fucking the best seats in the house, best restaurants. I picked up the fucking tab, and I'd have parties at my house, and that would be my mother, great cook. So she taught me almost like food's love. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when I just said to my mother, I said, Mom, I don't want to go to school today, even as a 3rd or 4th grader, 5th grader, 6th grader. And she'd say, no, don't worry about it. Stay home and we'll play canasta and we'll play gin rummy and we'll play rummy. And I'll make you a cheese omelet in the morning and I'll make tuna fish for lunch. And then we'll have chicken cutlets for dinner. And that would be my fucking day. And that's how I bonded with my mother, over food. So in 1980, let's speed everything up. A man came on Channel 4, which was NBC. And his name was Professor Pix.
And how old are you at the time? 1980?
19.
Okay.
19.
Professor Pix.
He came on TV and he was an accountant that created a short form tax form. And he made $1 million doing it. And he took the money and put it into computers to pick football winners and stock analysis. And he proceeded to talk for 15 minutes about how the Philadelphia Eagles, Dick Vermeil's team, Ron Jaworski was the quarterback. They were the darlings of the fucking world. I don't know why, I don't know how, but they were. They were supposed to be a very clean team, did the right thing. Dick Vermeil was above the fray, did it right. The Oakland Raiders were dirty and scum. And they had ex-criminals work for them. And, they didn't give a fuck. They just wanted to win at any cost. And he proceeded to tell me and my father, never forget it, 15 minutes, how the Philadelphia Eagles were going to crush the Oakland Raiders. Eagles were a 4-point favorite at the time. So it's not like he had, some wild thought. Fucking odds makers said it. And me and my father were watching this jerk off, like fucking clueless moron, an expert, explain how that's going to happen. We said, there is no way that's happening. No prayer in no world. And everybody in my town, The fathers of the kids also loved the Eagles. Everybody was Eagles. Raiders killed them. We knew the Raiders were going to kill them. We were high-fiving, me and my father. I said, Pop, because it's really weird, because growing up Jewish, there was a lot of pressure that my mother wanted me a doctor or a lawyer. Those are my fucking choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know why, but that's how it was. And I said to my father, listen, I'm not really smart enough to be a doctor, and I don't have the patience to be a lawyer. I can't study. I just can't do it. I don't have the patience. I might have had ADD. I don't know what I had, but I just could not study. If it came to me immediately, I could do it. Science, I was great at. Math, I was great at. English, social studies. In 12th grade, I was probably on a 6th grade level. I got on my SATs. In 10th grade, I got a 550 math, 390 English out of 800 and each 1600. 390 English is about as bad as you could be. It's almost illiterate. 550 is basically average for math. So that blew me going to any college. My mother wanted me to go to the best college. You know, my mother pumped me up. So did my father. They always pumped me up and my brother up. They loved us. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't real. You know what I mean? Like, keep it real. It's not real. It's one of those parents that said you could do anything. I guess you could. But I didn't, and I wasn't. So I said to my father, listen, bottom line is this. I want to go into this fucking business. If this jerk off can be this wrong, or this not being abusive, this expert that got the time on NBC the Friday before the Super Bowl, prime time, that spot cost gazillion dollars, because I can't even imagine. And he got it for free. If he could be so wrong, let's go into the business. Because my father always taught me defense, running, violence, underdogs, home advantage. Taught from my father. Like 1977. You know, I'm 16 years old. He's pounding it into my head. Now gambling's legal. Now everybody, you know, you teach your kid this if you want to gamble. You would teach your kids but then, you know, there was no kids gambling. It was only legal in Nevada. There was 100 bookmakers on Long Island, in Massapequa, in Farmingdale, in Seaford, all the towns. They were all mafia. It was all mafia. It's the only bookmakers at the time. Mafia. And they didn't let kids bet. They didn't let little kids bet. They didn't let kids who are under really 21 bet. You could bet, but you'd have to post money up. And the limits then were very, very small. They wouldn't let you get in trouble because they knew you can't pay. And then if you found the place that allowed you to have credit, you know, they knew you weren't, they knew you couldn't pay if you got in trouble. Or certain players that had what's called a sheet, where you would work for the bookmaker. You would get the customers, and you would be on what's called a half sheet. So 50% of the losses during a week, that's your money. If the people won, you would run a negative until you got into the positive. So a lot of people took shots. They said, fuck it, everybody can bet with me. And if you went bad, you just can't bet anymore until you pay. Mm-hmm. So that's what they would do. So I said, I'm going into this business. Now the problem is this. When I went into the business, I could not get a merchant number to accept payment, because when I went to a bank and I said, listen, I have an expertise picking winners on football games. They looked at me like I had two heads. They said, okay, but if you were living in Nevada, that's fine, because it's legal in Nevada, but it's not legal anywhere. So we're not going to allow you to have a merchant number on an illegal business. That's not happening. I said, yeah, but I'm not the bookmaker. I'm not taking the bet. They're like, but where's the point of purchase customer doing it? He's betting illegally. We're not letting it. So how I got a merchant number, my first merchant number, was I had to say I was selling sports apparel. And then I would able to charge the card. Second problem was nobody would allow you to advertise. Nobody, unless you were specifically in the state of Nevada. Mm-hmm. So then what I would have to do is I bought Sports Illustrated customer list. And we just randomly, me and this guy that was 23 years older than me, my father lent me $1,500 and he put $1,500 in. We had 2 desks together, maybe the size of this bus with a bathroom. And we would just sit there on the telephone and fucking call thousands of people a day. Hi, how you doing? Do you bet? Hi, how you doing? Do you bet? And of course, 99.9% didn't bet. They're like, where'd you get my number from? Where'd you get my number from? Where'd you get, then, it was like crazy, And the good thing was that you couldn't block someone. You know what I mean? Like if I had your fucking number, I had your number. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll call you 3 in the
Stu
fucking
Feiner's
morning.
got your number. It's over.
Right. It's literally fucking over. So,
I mean, I give you my number and you won't. He sends me NBA pics literally every fucking day.
Really?
Yeah.
You can run, but you can't hide. So, then all of a sudden, I started seeing these little 1-by-1 ads in newspapers. So then, we were doing so well picking. Like in the early 80s, I'm talking, I would hit 8 out of 10 every fucking week. So remember now, all you had was a Saturday slate, a Sunday slate, no late Sunday game, and the Monday game. That's it. So you had 3 days, and we pounded away for those 3 days. But my against the grain, against the public, better defense, home teams, home underdogs, more violent teams covered and won outright. Also, when I picked the winners, they were direct opposite of what everyone else picked. The public picked, the gamblers picked. So not only when I won, I got your fucking attention because, like, let's say I gave you the better team and they were laying 7, they won. They were betting that without me. And in the 80s, up until probably, I would say 1992, when offshore sports books just started, everybody bet the favorites. Because when you bet a game, you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want to be like, you don't want to be so nervous before the game starts that you could get blown out. You want to be on the comfortable side. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be uncomfortable. So my system was like fucking gold. It was absolutely gold. So I started running these little 1-by-1 ads saying, I know more than you. Call me. And the first name of my first company was Profit Line Sports. Prophet. And we had this like prophet with like a fucking wizard's hat and a computer at the time. Like, like it was like, it was state of the art. Mm-hmm. And we had a good artist and we put this little ad and my phone rang off the fucking hook. Within 3 months, we wrote $250,000. First year in business, we wrote 1.3 million with our overhead being 60,000 plus our blood, sweat, and tears. We were fucking off to the races.
Yeah.
We went from size of this bus to 3,000 square feet in 12 months. I got 40 people working for me now. Now I'm writing $3 million. 22 years old. Fucking killing. Absolutely killing. All of a sudden, I get a lawsuit in the mail. And it says that I'm being sued because not one of my customers, but a gambler sued everybody in Nevada that had a license. Because at the time I went to lawyers and I said, I don't want to go to jail. Because the common theme of what I did is no matter how I told or who I told what I did for a living, they're like, you're a bookmaker. No, I'm not a bookmaker. I never took a bet in my life. Never, ever, ever. I didn't want to go to jail. 2 things I never did was sell coke and be a bookmaker because I could not stand being in jail. Like I couldn't last a fucking day. I saw those movies, you drop the soap, some guy's going to fuck up your ass. I would rather kill myself. I'd rather die. I would not, not happening. And those are the main things that I figured you go to jail for. Not doing them. So we had to get a license in Nevada at the time to sell pigs. Okay. This guy loses like $400,000 gambling. Was never one of my customers, but he gets a lawyer and sues every person that has a license in Nevada. He killed his wife to get the insurance money to pay his gambling debts.
No shit.
So now
Did he get caught? He obviously got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this was his defense. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he killed her. He got the money because then the insurance companies paid immediately. Scams used to work like that in the 70s and the 80s. Now, of course not. Now they fucking investigate. They don't give you $1. They wait you out. There's no time frame in the money. They'll wait you out to make sure it's not fraudulent.
Right.
Then, scams will run every fucking day like this. Whatever it is, fires, whatever. You got paid by the insurance companies. The scammers were able to beat them senseless for, good 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe going back to the 50s. Anyway, so I get this fucking lawyer. Lawyer says, well, you're going to have to go to Nevada. I go, I'm never going to Nevada. Well, you got to testify. I'm never testifying. Find out how much money it's going to cost to settle. So 90 people paid the guy $7,000 to just settle. I did nothing wrong. I had nothing to do with anything. I had to pay $7,000. But at the time, I had a lucrative business. Fuck it, let's go. Then I caught a major break because ESPN in 1984, all of a sudden, allowed me to advertise. So they had like a TV guide of everything that was on HBO and all the major channels. And I was able to buy the inside front cover for Profit Line Sports.
Of the TV guide?
Yeah.
Like the TV guide?
Yes. Cost me like $40,000. I wrote like $1.6 million off of it. Then they said, in March of 1984, you could run national commercials, a 30-second commercial. I had to make storyboards and pitch it to these fucking executives. It was fucking amazing. It was like great. I bought a suit. I looked like a schlub because, I was like a giant fat guy. I was like 260 pounds at the time. So no matter what I wore, I didn't look good. So I walked in there, but I could sell and I could pitch. And I was not afraid of anything. I was not afraid of failing. I was not afraid of no. Your job started when the customer said no. In 10th grade, I worked for a place that sold unsold airtime for radio stations. Radio stations had so much airtime, they needed someone to fill it. So my boss taught me how to sell. Just randomly make shit up and sell it. And I was able to sell, so I knew how to sell. Then I sold in 11th grade, I sold maintenance chemicals, office supplies. And we'd call these people that needed like cow manure and, odor granules and, fertilizer. And I knew how to sell. And that skill set, he taught me your job starts when the customer says no. And then your job starts when the customer says, never call me again, and hangs up on you. You call the guy right fucking back on redial. And you go, listen, you motherfucker, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you better give me fucking respect because I'll come down to your fucking door and smash your fucking face in, you piece of shit. And the guy'd be like, whoa, I'm sorry. Because I got him now. I got his phone number. I just threatened the fucking guy unless he's a made guy or he's a mafia guy who's with someone. He doesn't know who I am. I'm from New York. I'm talking like, whatever. So I got the fucking guy. And then he would roll over. I would send him like a fucking 401, a Daiwa fucking test, like some fucking Testament filament fucking fishing reel, or I'd sell him, or I'd give him gifts. And I was great at it. I was fucking great. So when I sold these people, they said yes. It was unbelievable. So we ran 60 30-second commercials in March saying Profit Line Sports is the #1 sports analyst in the world. We play the game 100 times in a computer, and we decide what statistics and analysts work. Call us now. And of course, I had a big sales force, and they were really abusive. So HBO cut us off immediately. And they stopped using national commercial. You could not buy a national commercial after I did that, because they were like, holy fuck, this guy just wrecked our fucking business. It was such a bad name because I was so abusive with the people, because we sold hard, like super fucking hard. Guy would hang up, we'd call again, guy hang up, call again. What they made do not calls, and they made these lists because of what I used to do to people. But it took them 20 years to do it, but I did, I was doing it in the 80s. So then all of a sudden, USA Today, a national newspaper, allowed us to fucking advertise. And it was the craziest thing ever. I'd run a basic ad, I'd run a little ad. And then there was like 20 little ads. So then I said, how do I get rid of this competition? I ran a half-page ad. And then somebody ran a quarter page ad. So then I ran a full fucking page ad, $60,000 in 1984. We have a freestanding building that we're on the second floor, 609 Route 109 in West Babylon. The building is still there. Oddly enough, when Jenks came to my house for the first time, that works with Tank right now,
Yeah.
I took him for 6 hours and I showed him every building I owned, every place I went to, and he was floored. So you walk into this building, and on the left side, there was this little office, tiny office, smaller than this. And there was these two guys. And their job, what they did, was supply strippers for strip clubs on Long Island. And this is like 83. And the strippers and strip clubs in the 80s, they were like crack whores. You know what I mean? They were disgusting, very thin, no tits, gross girls, but they were doing it for the money. He would send them up to my office. And we'd just fuck the fuck shit out of them, you know, whatever. We didn't give a fuck at the time. You 20, you know, you'd fuck anything, what you know, then just do what you got to do. All of a sudden, one day, this fucking guy in a fucking gazillion-dollar suit with gazillion-dollar jewelry is in the office. And he goes, "Hey, kid, come here." He goes, "Yeah, I'm Joey Bang Bang. I just got out of jail. Did 17 years. I killed 5 people." He goes, "My 2 guys here say you're a fucking guy. You're a fucking earner. You're a fucking Jew. I'm going to call you Stewie the Jew. You're a fucking earner." He goes, "Want to do business with you?" Now, my partner, I'm 22. He's 43. He's Italian also. And he hated this guy. He says the guy's a fucking criminal. Guy's a fucking loser. And my partner, once we started making money, see, my father taught me when I made money, don't show you make money. Don't dress like you make money. Don't do anything. Reverse with this guy. This guy's in his 40s already. He wants to show his dick. You know, he's fucking everything that walks. He's going to these PWP meetings, Parents Without Partners. He was single and he was taking down, God, fucking 15 girls.
Like a wedding crashers deal.
Without,
Yeah.
Crazy PWP, you know. And he goes, "But I hate your fucking partner. He's not showing me respect." I'm like, "Well, listen, listen, I'm showing you respect, Joe. I don't want no fucking problems here. Like, whatever." So he starts having a card game downstairs. And we were writing at the time about $5 million on a board that you wrote it. The minute guy makes a sale, we used to sell, like we used to call a person up and go, "Listen, our package is 1.5 million. But all I need from you now is 150,000. And you owe me 1,350,000. And I'll work that off, picking the winners." And some people go, "Okay, that works." Think about that. Okay, that works. So I got 150 grand sale. So we were just killing. We were killing. This guy has a card game. And one of my managers starts playing in the card game. And this guy, Joe, says, "I hate that fucking guy, Tony, upstairs, Stu's partner. I love the fucking Jew, but I hate the partner. I'm going to fucking make a move. I'm going to send one of my guys up there." So he sends this Luca Brazzi guy up to my office. And Joey says to me, "Stu, I want you to fucking give him a job." What am I supposed to say? I said, "Yes." "Okay, no problem." This fucking guy couldn't even talk. He was not there to pitch. He was there to look. And I was stupid enough to not take the board down. So he told Joey everything. So I get into work on a Saturday about 10 minutes late. And my partner was fucking beat the fuck out of him. He had a toupee ripped off. His whole face was bloody. He goes, "Fucking Joey fucking sent someone here to beat me up." I go, "How do you know it was Joey?" He goes, "What are you talking about? We know it was Joey. Because the day before we fired this Luca Brazzi guy. And it was a real hole to do, even getting him out of the office." So then my partner now has this fucking idea. Because I went back to my father, and my father was friends with my uncle who worked for the FBI, and he took pictures. He said, "Get out of the business. What are you, fucking crazy? It's mafia business. Get out of the fucking business. You got a fucking issue here. What are you going to do? Get out of the fucking business. Do something else. Anything else. Just get the fuck out." I said, I'm not getting the fuck out. I make a lot of money here. So my partner says he knows a friend that's in the mafia. He goes to the friend comes to the office. Friend says, Tony, you come with me to Brooklyn. I'm going to drive to Brooklyn and we're going to meet this guy, Rocco.
Classic.
So in Brooklyn, Rocco has like an apartment in Bensonhurst, but in the basement, there's like fucking 20 TVs. And he sits down and he tells my partner, he goes, Tony, what this guy Joey's going to do is fucking kill you and take your fucking business. That's how it works. So you're with me now. I'll protect you. So on the way home, the people in the car ask Tony what his address is, home address. And he thought that was weird. So he gives him a fake address. Okay. Tony comes back and says, it was really fucking weird. I don't know what to do, but this guy, Joey, they said he's going to kill us. I said, well, a guy loves me. He's not going to kill me. He goes, well, what the fuck? He's going to kill me. It's the same as killing you, right? I said, yeah, we're in this together. I'm not fucking bailing out on you. The next day, same situation. I get to work like 15 minutes late and they beat the fuck out of my partner. And this time they wreck the whole office, 2 people. But the problem was one of the guys said to him, like a dodo, and I know where you fucking live. You're at this, and we're going to come to your fucking house if you don't give us the money. Because what they were asking for was 40% of our gross money. Whatever we wrote, we give them 40%. And then we're good. So now he knows it's them because they gave the fake address. So he knows
two different gangs coming at him now.
Right. So,
by the way, quick pin. Your partner has to stop showing up to work on time.
That's fucking, sounds like he's showing up early.
So he's like 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. Don't catch a beating at all.
So now we got a real fucking problem. We got a $5 million business. Now, in those days, the big customers paid us in cash. They would put $150,000 in a FedEx envelope. Certain weeks we had $300,000-$400,000 in cash. Just on our desk. Which, of course, we're blowing the money. We're going to Atlantic City. I couldn't lose the money quick enough. I couldn't buy enough Coke. I couldn't give it away to my friends. I couldn't wait to go to sporting events, paying top dollar, shows, everything, restaurants, walk into Le Cirque, Le Perigord, Le Bernardin, Maitre d', here's $1,000. Fucking, I want that table. We weren't even dressed. You got it, Mr. Feiner. Tip everybody $200. I'd spend $10,000. Le Cirque, Le Perigord, Le Bernardin, all the top restaurants in New York. Spark Steakhouse, every one of them. Smith Walensky's, every fucking one of them. They knew me because I fucking, whatever. I bought my way in. I didn't have the rep, but I did what, they didn't give a flying fuck. They treated me better than they would have treated Paul Newman, a big star. It didn't matter. So my uncle says, if you're not going to get out of business, you got to call security firm here. You got to get guards. So my father, it was the greatest because my father is an army veteran, 2 tours to Germany, and he was a complete psycho. He comes there with his friends, and they bulletproof every one of my windows with this plexiglass that was bulletproof. He puts starters in all of our cars so that we could start the car from the top of the office, because he says that's how they do it. They're going to blow up your fucking car. You're like, he's whatever. This is nuts. We sleep at the office. We get 2 security cars on guns, walk around with us everywhere we go for 2 weeks. They build a wall now where to get into my office, you have to buzz. There's a guy sitting there with a shotgun in full view. They buzz you in. Under our desks, every one of them, shotguns, unlimited ammunition. I never shot a shotgun in my life. Not even half the fucking people there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we had to shoot it, there's no way. I would have had to take a shotgun. I thought about it in my head. I would take the shotgun and beat the person with it. I'm not shooting. Right, literally, there's no way. And Sandy at the time is working for me. Her father is working for me. Her sister-in-law is working for me. Her brother-in-law is running the business. So this is like a psycho family operation here. This is a serious fucking situation. And we're making too much money. Like, you know, I'm like, it's too easy money. And I'm picking fucking winners left and right too, mind you. I'm picking fucking every winner, every Super Bowl. I catch every Monday night underdog. I catch every Sunday underdog. I'm like fucking unconscious. People can't wait for me to give the picks out. I'm giving the pick out on Tuesday because I saw the games already. I was able to click immediately. They're flying to Vegas with $100,000, $150,000. They're borrowing money from Shylocks at 2 to 3 points a week, taking that money, going to Vegas to bet the games because I was that good at that time. So I had a major following. I was number one in the country, in the fucking country. So then all of a sudden, after about 6 days, one of the guys sitting there at the door he goes, "You can't live like this." He goes, "Listen, I'm going to send someone to your office. They'll solve this fucking problem." So I said, good. This guy comes in with a fucking cigarette. Fucking just like a pure fucking movie. Me and my partner behind our desks. This guy goes, "I'll solve your problem." He's smoking a cigarette. "Solve your problem, 25,000. I'm like, 25,000? We'll give that to you right now. No. 25,000 for life. Every year. And once a year, you go to a Christmas party and you give the boss $5,000. I'm like, we're in. Now, most people said to us, most people that I went to after I did the deal, they said, "Listen, they're the same as the other two. They're going to take over your fucking business, you stupid fucking Jew. Are you crazy? What are you doing? It's going to go so bad, so quick." Okay.
Oh, like I had to piss so bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
But don't tell
Time
anyone the
out.
story.
Time out.
Don't tell anyone.
We're literally gonna sit in silence.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Oh, God.
I mean,
Never a dull moment, guys, huh?
Talking for an hour.
I know. I love
You've
it.
been here for an hour, and I'm literally just like, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. We interrupt this episode to bring you Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea is a refreshing, hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. Full of flavor and very refreshing, Twisted Tea goes down smooth, so there's no carbonation, which makes it easy to drink all day long. Twisted Tea feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day, especially during the playoffs and now upcoming to the Super Bowl. Twisted Tea is the perfect alcohol beverage for game day, whether tailgating in the parking lot, watching at a bar or casino, or watching with your friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted with Twisted Tea. Grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. They're everywhere. Back to the episode.
Okay, so.
I think it's one of those deals where we don't have.
Let's jump back in.
Yeah, we'll jump back in.
Don't want to lose any moment of thought.
Yeah, you're right. Do you want this?
No, I'm okay.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Okay. So now he says, this is the plan. Because they know that Tony, my partner, is not with anybody. Because they smacked him around. They asked him if he was with anybody. He said no. Then he reached out to a second place, which smacked him around. So both places know he's not with anybody. So here's the plan. The guy goes, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to bring my guy back here." Because the guy that we met was not the guy.
The one that you're going to pay 25 for life.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So he brings his buddy. And his buddy says to me, "This is what we're going to do. We're going to go downstairs right fucking now. Okay? And here's what the story is. You've been with me since 7th grade. You had a problem selling tickets. And I solved the problem. And you fucking with me. And it's on record. And it's on order. And I put it on order." I said, "Listen, why can't you go down without me?" He goes, "Don't worry about it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to talk to him. We know this shit. We've done this before." I'm like, okay. And the things I did in this late, in 10th, 11th, 12th grade is I sold concert tickets. I got the first 5 rows for every show at the Nassau Coliseum, Madison Square Garden, all of Jersey, all of Connecticut, all of Philadelphia. I in I think 11th grade, me and Sandy bought 7th row center for Genesis at Madison Square Garden for the Then There Were Three tour. Gabriel left. It was the first album they came out without Peter Gabriel. I don't know if you're familiar with Genesis, Phil Collins and whatever. So, and that was our favorite album. And as it turns out, Follow You, Follow Me was our wedding song. So we paid this guy $40 each. I didn't have the money at the time. She paid, I paid. Dutch. And we sit 7th row center. We meet this guy. And this guy says to me, I need you to bring down people to wait online for me. It's either the night before, we wait online from like 8 at night until the show goes on sale, or 6 o'clock in the morning, you have people online, and then we filter people in where you are. I said, okay. So I sold concert tickets and I sold pot. Only 2 things I ever did in high school and my first 2 years of college. I went to Nassau Community College, right across the street from the Coliseum. So I was very popular and very valuable, because if you wanted to see a fucking show, you had to go through me. Now, none of my money, I didn't use any of my money for anything. This guy would give me the money, pay each person either a first 5 row center ticket for free or $100. So I sold concert tickets, and we had a lot of wars with people, because there would be people sitting online for days, and we would just literally, I got football players to work for me. We would literally, there would be like a list of like 600 people had been there for 4 days. I would literally walk up to the line. Let me see the list. They go, yes, Stu, sign here. I take the list, rip it the fuck up. And then my football players would literally take these metal like barricades and squish them against the wall. We would filter like 40 people in front, and then we put the barricade back. And we go, what the fuck you want to do? You want to fuck, let's go. You want to fucking go? And a couple of times they beat this living fuck out of people. Like should have gone to jail, shit, left them for dead. But then, they were scared, so they didn't call the cops. So this guy says, listen, here's the deal. I helped you when you were having problems. You're fucking with me. You've been with fucking me. I said, okay, but listen, I don't want to go downstairs. Because you got to come down. It'll be very mellow. So I go down with this guy, and the other guy stays upstairs. And he literally, the second he walked in, just threatens the fuck out of this guy. He's like, who the fuck you think you are? You're making a move on him. He's fucking with me. Check on record. He's on fucking record. He's fucking with me. Who the fuck are you? And then this guy is like, oh, whoa, I didn't know. And that's how it went down. I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? I didn't know. I hate his fucking partner. Disrespected me. Doesn't say hello to me. This and that. And I'm literally sitting there thinking, I'm getting shot. I'm literally getting fucking shot here. Because he has a gun with him. He has a gun on him. I know the other guy has a gun. He's already killed people. He just got out of jail. And I'm sitting there like I swear to God, my heart has never beat so fucking fast. But he backed down. Back down. So then that really gave me the license now to just have a license to steal. A license to just go. It was my dream come true. Like I could do whatever the fuck I want. And if I got a beef, this guy's going to fucking come and fucking tell you to fuck yourself, because it's on record that I'm with him. And his guy was like fucking like a big guy. He owned like 3 fucking bars in Queens, 2 bars in New York. And every time I met that guy, I was always super scared, because he was always making a move on me. He's like, what can we do to make money? What can we do to make money? Like he didn't like physically make something happen, but every time he's like, come on, can't you cut me in? What's the story? What's the deal? And I just kept him in arm's distance. I never was late with the money. I always went to the Christmas parties, and he'd be like, he'd introduce me to everybody. Like, hey, this is Barry 5 Fingers. Just got out of jail for killing 5 people. He only has 5 fingers because he fucking got his hand cut off in fucking jail. I'd be like, this is a fucking Jew, Stu the Jew. He's a fucking earner for us. That's how they introduce me. I'd be like, hi,
Yeah.
how you doing? And this went on for like 3 years. Then all of a sudden, the guy that was the first guy that we met that wasn't involved with the mafia, says he needs a job, wants to come work with me. And for some reason, I unconditionally trusted it. I did not think anything bad would happen. And it didn't. This guy became my best salesman. He became one of my managers and has my back to this fucking second. So my partner did not like this guy. He didn't like him, didn't trust him. So he opens his own office, takes half my crew, we're still partners, and goes like 2 towns down the road, builds a state-of-the-art office, and he's doubling what I write, doubling me. Can't figure out how. All of a sudden.
Was it a bad breakup with you two splitting?
No, because he would never rob from me. There was no robbing about. First of all, I'm close enough to this guy. Can't rob me because this guy will fucking, you can't, he knows it. But he just wanted to be the guy. And he didn't like the situation. Okay, fine. He goes to this place and he's doubling my business. I can't figure out how. So what he's doing is just banging people's credit cards. He's randomly just fucking hitting them. Guy would pay $250 for a week and then say, no, I want to stop. And he'd have like 200 of these people. He would just hit their cards for $250 every single day. Every day.
Even if they didn't want it.
They had no idea. How about this? Only 50% of the money charged back. Only 50% charged back. People didn't even look at their credit card. They just paid it. It was like surreal. Eventually, we lost all our merchant numbers. And I said, that's ridiculous. How have you been doing this? You know how to sell? Fucking sell. We make enough money selling, you scumbag. I said, we're fucking done. And he went his separate way. And then I kept my people. And I did not hire any of the people that were with him back because fuck them, because they were scams and they were thieves. I'm like, how didn't you tip me off? That's a fucking felony. You're going to jail for what you just did. Thank God I had enough money that I paid every single chargeback. So even though they knew it was crazy, I paid it back. And they were embarrassed that they were so vulnerable that they could be whacked out for hundreds of millions of dollars in theory if you didn't catch it. Sandy was working at the time, before she became my full-time bookkeeper, at Bank of America. I think it was Bank of America. And the FBI comes to her house unannounced, comes in her fucking door and starts grilling her about, you used to work at a bank. What happened here? Your boyfriend just, you had $2 million in chargebacks. What'd you know? Were you on the inside? And her mother, going out with her 4 years at the time. Her mother goes, listen, get the fuck out of my fucking house. You don't talk to my fucking daughter. Go fuck yourself. You got something to fucking say. Get me a fucking warrant. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. And threw them out. And they never came back. So I could have been in a lot of trouble because, in other words, I was still half partners with this guy at the time when all these chargebacks came in. I made it good, and then that was it. So I escaped a very, very big problem with that. And then from that point forward, it taught me to be squeaky clean with credit cards, like squeaky clean. There was no bullshit. You never overcharged a card. Like in those days, people would say, put it on the card and we'd get the code. They go, Stu, hold the code and I'm going to send you cash at the end of the week because they got paid in cash. Those days, it was cash. Everything was cash. There was no checks. There's nothing else. There was no PayPal. There was no Zelle. It was, fucking, you got paid in cash with a bookmaker and you paid whatever you were doing in cash. And what he would do also, when he was still with me at the time, if they didn't pay after 5 days and we'd have like 18,000 on the wall because we'd have the customers like their sheets on the wall, he would go, put it all through. And at the time I was okay with that because the deal was you're paying cash. You owe me the money. If you don't have the cash, then I'm putting the credit card through because I don't have your money. And then, so I should have seen the writing on the wall that when he went on his own, he was just going to randomly just go wild. And that's what he did. And eventually he just went totally out of business. Everybody left him, totally out of business. So now we're in, let's see, 1988. I get married to Sandy, go on my honeymoon. I go Italy for 2 weeks, cruise for 2 weeks, come back. And I say, gotta buy a building. So I buy my first building. It was a freestanding 4,000 square foot building. I pay $360,000 for the building. Right now, the building I sold it in 1995 for like $660. It's worth $2.7 million. I fucking want to throw up. But anyway, so we buy this building. Now we're absolutely killing. And in 1989 was the 88 I bought the building. 88 I got married. 89 we did our first show. It was called The Sports Advisors. We got this idea to go to Merv Griffin's resorts. We pitched Merv Griffin's like second in command guy. He gave us a 5,000 square foot suite at Merv Griffin's resorts. It was called the Griffin Suites where Merv stayed, with a fucking elevator, 5,000 square feet in 1989, mind you. And butler, unlimited food, unlimited everything. They'd fly us from the airport, which is in Farmingdale, to Atlantic City. We would hang out on a Monday night, film the show on Tuesday, go home Tuesday night. And Jim Clack was the host. And he was a lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was great at what he did. He was great, similar to you guys. Played the game, but could talk like a fucking professional analyst, very glib, amazing, told stories. His body count was 2,000, so he always bragged about how many women he fucked, which was 2,000. I said, how is that possible? He goes, it's fucking possible. I got a 12-inch dick. It was possible. I was fucking 4 women a night. I'm like, okay, great, that's great. And that was the first year we did the show.
And the source, Stu Feiner.
1990, I was partners with a couple of people the first year. And 1990, I went on my own. 1990, it was the first year I did 900 numbers, where people would pay me to speak to me and speak live. And my business was high-end tickets. We could get $1 million out of a customer. We would just take half of his winnings. And when we went on a roll, they were happy because on their own, they got annihilated. Like when people bet, the misconception is that when you actually bet, forget about picking. Anybody could pick. When you actually bet your fucking money and you get your teeth kicked in 2 weeks in a row, then you get your teeth kicked in 3 weeks in a row. Then the fourth week, you chase everything because you want to make up for the money and you get your fucking ass kicked in the fourth week. You're like, I got fucking problems. Then you normally start borrowing money. Is in 80s and 90s to pay what you can't pay. And then you're betting, you reach out for help. So people at that time would pay me anything to win. Because when people bet, you don't hit 50%. You don't hit 40%. You hit 20%. You get fucking annihilated. As Dave would tell you, as Big Cat would tell you, you lose a lot of fucking money. A lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden, the big crave was 900 numbers. Sex phones were on 900 numbers, where you would pay anywhere between $5 to $25 to listen to the girls talk on a recorded message or live. Dionne Warwick did the Psychic Friends Network, and they were writing hundreds of millions of dollars off 900 numbers. It would be paid like $5 per minute. And then sports started getting off the wall with 900 numbers. And I was always scared because I'm like, there's a $10 number, a $25 number, and a $50 number. That's how I started. I'm like, how can I ever bump the people? Well, P.S., the first day I ran my ad on the TV show, first day on the $25 number, I wrote $30,000. First day. And then I bumped the $25 number to the $50 number, which wrote another $30,000. So I was writing like 60,000 a week on 900 numbers. All my salesmen were like super scared right now because like they knew at that moment, I don't need them. This is much cleaner business. I just put a 3-minute, 4-minute analysis on a recorded message, gets fucking hit to the 900 number, and you're fucking golden. So we wrote like $8 million. We wrote 4 million, 6 million, 8 million, back to back to back. And the show is just absolutely murdering. It was all off the TV show.
And this is you going solo.
Yes, I'm alone right now.
Okay.
It's all my fucking money. All my money. So I'm like, this is nuts. I got the world by the balls. And then all of a sudden, this fucking scumbag, Rupert Murdoch, Channel 5, Fox 5, says, I want to get into the NFL game. I want to fucking take the NFL programming from CBS. And he makes an absurd offer and takes it from CBS and he puts it on Fox 5. But here's the problem. He has no sports channels. I'm in like every sports channel in the country. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. I'm in like 60 sports channels. We have a budget of like $150,000 a week. He buys all the sports channels and throws me off.
Do you not like you?
No, he needed it for his NFL programming.
Got you.
And at the time, 93 is when he started. He bought them all in 93, threw me off. And then in 94, he actually had it where he owned the NFL programming. There's nothing I could do. Nothing I could do because the NFL at the time, gambling was like taboo. You couldn't even say bet, like think about it. Now it's, 94 was like, no way. So then I started scrambling. So then I had to retake back the 800 business and try to make it go live. And the internet was just a thought. We went to like 10 separate seminars on the internet. And the internet was like the most obscure thing. You would go to this fucking meeting and now it's like you live on it. But then people would talk about we have a way that throughout the world, we have this thing that it's going to be there and everybody's going to be there. So major big players dumped so much money into the internet in 95, lost their fucking dick. 96, they chased it again, got murdered. 97, got murdered. 98, it blew up. So these people who were on the balls of their ass, almost bankrupt, became millionaires. And I was not ready for it. I could not understand it. I didn't have the skill set. At the time, in 1990 and 91, I advertised on Score phones. I advertised in 200 Score phones in 200 different cities. They gave scores, odds, lines, injury reports, weather reports. They also jammed 900 numbers in it, and I would have the first 30 seconds going, hi, folks, this is Stu Feiner, and right now I have the lock of the year. I have a game that can't lose. I have a game you can bet your children's eyes on. Call me now at 800. And that was, I was able to soften the blow of losing all my TV networks to Rupert Murdoch. So I still had my show, but my budget went from 150,000 to 30,000. I was in very select networks and not the biggest ones. But I was on the Score phones. I was doing good enough. So in 1993, the person that owned the Score phones, he loses like $4 million gambling in like 4 months in Vegas. He just went on the worst fucking, full tilt bender ever. He says to me, Stu, I want to sell you the business. I'm like, why would you sell me your business? It's a fucking great business. I'm paying you $1 million a year. You're fucking. He goes, I got in trouble. Need help. So we come to an agreement, $4 million. Put $1 million down, finance $3 million. Fine. It's a steal. It's fucking like stealing money. Can't say no to it. I worked as a landscaper for William Schwindler. He was the co-founder of Grumman Aerospace. He was partners with Leroy Grumman. They built all the fighter planes in World War II. He was the engineer. His claim to fame was in the movie Apollo 13 with Gary Sinise and Tom Hanks, when they were stuck up in the fucking air. There's a scene in the movie where there's two big tables and this guy comes in and throws shit on the table and says, you're the smartest people in the world. They're going to come through the atmosphere and burn the fuck up. We need to figure out how to save them, and you're the smartest people. Figure it out. This guy saved them. When they landed in real life, they drove right to his fucking house, which is now my house, and thanked him. Vice presidents were in my basement during World War II while he was building the fucking fighter planes to fight the fucking Germans. Okay. So we got caught swimming in his pool in 6th grade. And instead of him giving us a hard time, he goes, next year, we'll hire you. So he hired me and my brother and like 4 friends. It only lasted like 4 months because we ran around. We did nothing. We worked for this guy, Bill, and we were in this greenhouse on the property. It was 7.8 acres. It was absolutely fucking incredible. It was a 1.8 acre side field. It was 3.2 acres in the back, and we were on 2.58 acres. He had a 1,900 square foot, 1936 English Tudor. He had a barn. He had a tool shed. He had a chicken coop, horse stables, 20 by 60 in the ground pool, next to the pool, men's bathroom, men's shower, women's bathroom, women's shower. $3 million in trees, psycho fucking trees, maple trees, oak trees, inhuman. It was like you were at a fucking arboretum. The house was, take your breath away. We worked there 4 months, got fired. But I told the guy day one, I said, when you die, I want to buy your house. Fucking guy dies, and I buy his fucking house. 1990. So in 1994, the way I got the $1 million was my house is on a 2.5 acre piece that it's 1 acre zoning. The 1.8 acre side field next to me is 1 acre zoning. The back 3.2 acres is 70 by 100 zoning. So I built 11 houses. I made a cul-de-sac. I got the roads approved. I put the roads in. I put the sewers in. I plotted the land out, named it after my oldest son, Sean Michael, and I flipped it. And I took that money, bought the score phones. Score phones were fucking killing. 900 numbers were killing. I have the 800 numbers. Even though I lost the TV show, which would have made me probably a 20, 30, $50 million a year guy. Because it was just growing. Because the TV show was just off the fucking wall. It's the only show. It's the only fucking show. And that's where I built my reputation as being the source and being entertaining and screaming, yelling. Because I knew that gambling in reality is only should be for the rich to have fun and lose money. Gambling equates to losing money. Gambling equates to having fun and losing money. There is no winning. You could say, Stu, somebody wins. Nobody wins. They've never won. They never will win. 2 types of gamblers. A gambler who says he's a winner, he's a liar, and he's a loser. Or just a straight up gambler that's just a loser. So that's the reality of gambling since the beginning of fucking time. Now, DraftKings, FanDuel, me, Barstool, you, anyone. That's not what we say. We fucking get on there and we give 100% to be entertaining, to be funny, to be enjoyable, to take you out of your miserable scumbag fucking life that sucks cock, and you can escape. But the reality is, eventually gambling is going to ruin everybody. Gambling being legal is going to ruin children. It's going to ruin everyone. It teaches you such bad habits. And God forbid you win early and you win quick and you got a bank load of money. That's the worst fucking thing that could happen. Best thing that could happen is you gamble and you go in hard and you get your fucking teeth kicked in. So then you learn. I love gambling. I'm going to gamble forever. But let's take a couple of zeros off what I'm going to play. So there's nothing wrong with gambling every fucking day. Nothing wrong with it. I suggest it. Do it. But be responsible because you're never winning and it's going to ruin your life. Not only will it ruin your life, it will ruin how you go about every decision in your life, whether it's how you treat people, whether it's women, whether it's business. Because gambling is quick fix. Like, wow, in 2 hours, I got a fucking boatload of money. But that's not how life works. Well, Stu, I'm going to study. Stu, Listen, gambling is for the rich to have fun and lose money. And that's it. And that's the rule. So, right? 1997 was my biggest year. I write 8 million live with people. From my first building, which was 4,000 square feet, I flip it into a second building, which is now 8,000 square feet.
So perfect sitting duck for the internet to take you down.
Unbelievable. Dump all my money into the building, state of the art, rocking and rolling. The internet comes and wrecks me because now people can charge $1 for what I'm charging 1 million. Because now the internet is the Wild West. They're just lying about their record. They're just lying about their past performance. And I can't compete.
Because they're doing it
I'm
for
on
like
national
free.
TV. I can't lie. People think I lie. I can't lie. What are you talking about? I'm in front of you every day. Now, certain times when I get my teeth kicked in, I do not go on and go, I got my teeth kicked in. That's about the only thing I do that could be looked at as manipulative. But I can't lie. I've never lied about a record. I don't lie about jack shit. What happens is I get a bill in the mail from AT&T. Now, how the 900 numbers worked is AT&T pays you 90 days after the money comes in. And then they wait another 20 days. So let's say I write money in September. I do not get the September money. October, November, December, I get middle of January. They hold 25% for chargebacks. 25%. And then they take 6% for their fee. How about this? Chargebacks was 75%.
No shit.
They did not have the ability to block payphones. So how about a payphone in a fucking bar? Everybody's calling my 900 numbers. We don't know it. AT&T's paying me. They lost like $40 million in a day. They almost went out of business, AT&T. And I got a fucking monster bill. I owed them like a gazillion dollars, and I had to pay it because I was personal on that. So the internet and that wiped me the fuck out. I was done. I had a shot to be a billionaire, $100 million guy with $10 million a year coming in, me fucking living large, going to Atlantic City every fucking day, hanging with Donald Trump, hanging with Marla Maples when he was fucking around on his first wife, fucking Marla. I was right there, tried to fuck her. She said no. You know, I didn't actually say I want to fuck you, but I like was flirting, and she fucking looked at me like, come on, please, I'm with fucking Donald. Donald was, when Donald opened his casino, I was one of his top guys there. Got a $100,000 credit line, lost in 30 minutes. Got another 100, lost in 30 minutes. He had a executive room where he had the high roller, where he had the restaurant, this restaurant called Scheherazade. And right from the high roller, you walked right into the fucking restaurant. And the way Donald made all his money at the casinos, his plan was to buy the casino and run it into the ground and bankrupt it and rebuy it back from the bank at 10 cents on the dollar, because he knew he had them by the balls. He did it like 7 different times. Brilliant. Brilliant fucking move. I mean, ruthless. I mean, people who invested with him got teeth kicked in, but he didn't, because he knew the law. So he played the game. So he was the first to give me or anyone that was a high roller unlimited rooms. I was able to get 7, 8 rooms for all my friends. I was able to get free food, room, and board. I was drinking 10 bottles of Cristal a night. Free. Limos. Free. Plain free. So that's how I rolled. So the internet and the 900s destroyed me. Now, I got a real bad name for myself because they did it like that. I kept screaming that I could win, and I could win, and I could win. And I'm guaranteeing winners. So I said, let me do this. Let me get professional athletes to work for me, and they'll be the face of my companies. And then we'll have a crazy sales force selling hard under them. It's got to be a home run. So I get Bum Phillips, I get Craig Morton, and I get Chuck Knox. All three to work for me. I think I had to pay each of them $135,000 immediately. Laid it out immediately. Chuck Knox immediately gives me the money back within a week, because he said the NFL will not allow him ever into the Hall of Fame if I do this. Because this is like in the 90s. Like, this is not now. Now everyone does it. So they were useless. No one gave a fuck about Craig Morton. They didn't care that he took the Giants to the Super Bowl. He played Giants Super Bowl, Broncos Super Bowl, took 2 different teams. They didn't give a fuck. They did not care about Bum Phillips. I caught a bad break, which was a good break for their family, bad break for me. Wade Phillips becomes like the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos or the Buffalo Bills, one of the two at the time. So then I'm running half-page ads. One of my companies was named Inside Information Sports. So it was a Monday night game. Colts are playing, I think the Bills. I think it was the Bills. And I say, it was the week after Thanksgiving, and I say, listen, I've got inside information on this game. Bum Phillips spoke to Wade Phillips and gave me the game. It's a lock. It's fixed. Bet everything you own on it. So, and no one called. Spent like literally $250,000 advertising the game. 100 and something to this bozo. Doesn't work. The deal with Craig Morton said, I don't give a fuck about the NFL. They fucked me. They didn't give me health insurance. They really railroaded me. Fuck the NFL. He let me say anything. He didn't give a fuck. Hung out with him and his wife in the city. We went to plays. We were very close. Bum Phillips, on the other hand, he was pretty straight up, Houston, had a big reputation, very stand-up guy, great guy. Met him, met his wife. They came here, we partied. They were the fucking best. You cannot drink as much as Bum Phillips. He literally drank like $600 worth of liquor in front of us. Like, it was crazy. I had like a big Christmas party. This guy did not stop drinking, and you couldn't even tell he was drunk. Like, he wore big cowboy hat, boots, the whole kit and caboodle. Greatest guy ever. The deal with Bum Phillips is his daughter was a hotshot lawyer. So before I ran the ad, I would have to send her the ad, fax it to her. She would click it, send the fax back. I'd put it there as documentation, go. This one time I said, fuck it, I'm getting killed here. I'm going to take a shot. I didn't. Okay. 6 o'clock in the morning.
This is where you said this game's a lock, it's fixed. Put your house on it.
Yes. 6 o'clock in the morning. 3 weeks later, get a knock on the door. Hi, how you doing? You've been served. NFL served me with papers this fucking thick. It was like a foot fucking high, suing me. Because not allowed to do that. Can't do that. The integrity of the game is on. How does this fucking kid Stu Feiner, have a link with Bum Phillips? And I would have never said that, but now Wade Phillips was coaching a professional team. I think it was the Bills. And they fucking sued me. So now, oh my God, I'm in real trouble. I'm in really fucking trouble. So I get the number one lawyer at the time in New York, $435 an hour. Every time I called him, he billed per minute. So if I just wanted to talk to him, and I kept talking to him because I didn't want to go to jail and look like I was fucking dead. Talk to him. So we went in, we had this meeting, and the meeting was this guy, the lawyer was supposed to talk to them, we were going to negotiate. Well, I just walked into the meeting. I said, listen, I literally pulled my fucking pants down. I said, listen, I got a 6-inch dick. I say I have a 10-inch dick, but it's 6. And I just told them everything. And I just pleaded my fucking case. And they said, okay. They said, you're never allowed to hire NFL players ever again. We want retractions times 3 of what you spent on the ads. So they had a copy of like every ad. So let's say, I think the exact number was like 160 grand. I had to spend triple that in retractions every week running Inside Information Sports. Has never spoken to Wade Phillips, has never spoken to Bum Phillips, has nothing to do with this. And it fucking wiped me. So a combination of the internet, combination of 900 numbers, combination of the lawsuit really fucking whacked me. So from 1999 to 2006, I was like almost suicidal. I did not pay my mortgage for 7 years out of 8 years. I was in foreclosure 4 years. I had no fucking money. I didn't have enough money to buy fucking Gatorade or bottled water. I used to take a fucking thing and put water on the tap, fill it up and bring it to my kids. And meanwhile, I'm walking around like everything's great, because part of the game, part of business, part of confidence is that you got to walk around, hey, everything's great, doing great, grinding it out, great. And every day I'd be on the phone 18 hours a day, calling people up, 18 hours a day, just grinding. Now, thank God, I still use my system, and it grinded enough winners out where I got hot. I got hot for 2, 3, 4 months in a row, and it would be enough to make a living, to stay alive. So didn't pay my mortgage, didn't pay nobody for 4 months. I borrowed like $3 million from mafia on the street, because I had a great reputation, paying like 3 points a week. So that's 9,000 a week in like just Fig. Nothing comes off the top. I borrowed like from $2 million from every friend I ever met in my life. And in 1997, which was my best year, me and Sandy, we made $2.4 million on the books. I didn't pay taxes. And then I didn't pay taxes 98 and 99, where I probably made like 400 grand. It was in a $7 million hole. Went to some tax attorneys and they said, Stu, you got to go back. You got to wipe everyone out. I go, I can't wipe people out. These are all my friends, my best friends, my mother, my father, my grandmother. You know, I borrowed from everyone. I can't do it. And then I just somehow, like battle tested, got fucking hot. And from 2005 to 2011, I paid it all back. Every fucking penny.
Because you got hot.
Every fucking penny. Grinded it out.
Beat the board.
2012, figured out the internet. 2013, I put free games on the internet, 12, 13, 14. And I hit a solid 62% in every fucking sport. In every fucking sport. 2015, back. 2016, Big Cat and PFT just start their ascension, and they're doing funny things at Barstool, and they run an ad where they imitate me. Big Cat imitates one of my old commercials. PFT imitates one of my commercials. And they use my actual 800 number. My actual number. All of a sudden, my phones light up. And I write like $14,000 out of the blue. I have no idea. And then all of a sudden, my son's friend said, you were on Barstool. You're on Barstool. I'm like, who the fuck is Barstool? The weirdest thing. My neighbor who bought my 1.8 acre side field, I sold it to one person. They built a beautiful house. I held on to 2.58 acres. 1990, I threw like probably $1.3 million into the house and the pool, made it 4,300 square feet, minted it out, fixed everything up, state of the art, whatever. He's a orthodontist. Maria, Barstool Rhea, mother works for him. She worked for him for 30 years. And so Rhea now says I can get a hold of Stu. So they bring me to the office. The first time that I met Dave Portnoy, I'm in the bottom of the old office, in New York. And he comes down and he's in a hoodie and he has like a hat on and unassuming. I have no fucking idea. He comes right up to me. He goes, Stu, how you doing? I'm a big fan. And I said, thank you. I thought he was like the garbage man. I thought he was like, well, who the fuck are you? I have no idea. I couldn't tell because I wasn't really familiar. Go upstairs and I cut a promo with Big Cat and PFT. They had an idea. Donald Trump would not pick the college basketball bracket for March Madness because Barack Obama did it for 8 years and he fucking hated him. Like, he fucking still hates him. He fucking hates him. So he says, fuck this, I'm not doing it. So Hank gets an idea, puts a wig on me and dresses me up, red tie, exact suit, white shirt. And I scream and yell like I'm Donald Trump. And it blows the fuck up. Blows up. They have me on for a couple of more skits. Blow up. Everyone fucking loves me. I go against Larry the Goldfish. I have this skit where I'm like, fuck this goldfish. You're not Stu Feiner. And I try to dive in the tank to kill the goldfish. It's just when they started that. And Big Cat and PFT like fucking tackle me. And then it blows up. And then I go directly against the goldfish when the Patriots played the Atlanta Falcons. And the fish took the Falcons and I took the Patriots. And that's when they were down 28-3 and they won. And then all of a sudden I get a call that July. And Dave says, Stu, me, my father, and my uncle used to watch you in the 90s. We love you. We love your fucking show. We want to bring it back. Want to rebrand it Barstool Sports Advisors. And then that's how I ascended with Barstool. And that's how, the rest is history. That's how I got there.
God damn. Yeah. What a story.
That was fucking incredible.
Can I get a TO? Can I get a timeout
Go
so I can
ahead.
go pee? Hold it. Yeah, I got.
We interrupt this episode to bring you Shipped. Shipped offers reliable, trustworthy same-day shopping and delivery. The joy of real human connection is why customers choose Shipped. That means connecting with us and having way more time to connect with the people around them. We're here for all the customers' needs because we offer a full range of retail options for same-day delivery needs. We're able to bring big and small delights to our members' busy lives. Get everything you need for the big game delivered with Ship. Ship makes shopping from your local stores easy so you don't waste any time. Get everything you need, snacks, drinks, hangover supplies, in as soon as 1 hour. Ship connects you with trusted personalized shoppers that meet your needs. They're proactive, solution-oriented, and they know you. They know what you like, and they care about getting it right. Are we doing that giveaway? Is that giveaway done?
Yeah.
Shipped?
Do we know when we announce?
We
have to announce we're going to be bringing some goodies to make sure everybody's taken care of for celebrating the big game.
Right. And I believe the boys were going to deliver it to somebody in the Nashville area.
Correct.
And if you want to be one of those people, I don't know if we've already done it. We'll find out in a second. We can just delete it. If not, you have to be living in the Nashville area. You have to...
The post went out last week.
Okay. So we're solid. So go see the post from last week because I did not remember.
That's right. They had to predict the games. We're idiots.
Predict the games.
Oh, it's
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That happens with the boys.
That's done.
That happens
That's
with
done. Hey, download Rumble, subscribe to Bussin' with the Boys. Back to the episode. That's hilarious. It was unassuming seeing Dave. So just had no idea who he was.
He left, and then someone that I took with me, they had to go upstairs. They go, God bless you. They said, do you realize that was fucking Dave Portnoy? I'm like, oh my God, no, I had no idea. The biggest loser ever. I think he held it against me for the rest of his life. Not that he cares. He doesn't really care about much. He's not like that. But I was embarrassed. I would have definitely gone about it my, totally different way. I would have pitched myself. I would have said, can we do dinner? Something, whatever. But that was it. I was like, thank you. He's awesome. Like, I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, thank you.
That's crazy. Him and his dad used to watch you.
Him, his dad, and his uncle.
That's wild.
One of the reasons that Barstool Sports exists is because of me. Because, first of all, his father was a lawyer. So he had what we would call a Yiddish cup. He could speak like the wind. He was taught that through his father in reality. And he had the biggest set of balls in the fucking world. Like no one has a bigger set of balls than him. And he's brilliant. Like people think he's just some fucking dodo. He's the smartest fucking guy in the room all the time, every time. Like, he's painted in the corner as like some misogynistic fucking, whore. That is so not true. He can go against any CEO in the world, any lawyer, and he holds his own. He knows the law.
He knows the law, and he knows how to catch you when you're saying certain things, 100. And you're like gets one around you.
You're dead.
He just figures it out. He's extremely smart. He doesn't even have credit.
No, not at all. He's the greatest counter puncher ever. Greatest
puncher?
Yeah.
Counter puncher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. He doesn't start the fight. He'll end the fight.
Yeah. When you're talking about meeting all these guys, all these made dudes who are like in the mafia and all that, what ended up happening to these cats? Because usually you had to pay $25,000 for the rest of their life.
That was a question.
So
You still paying it?
So what happened was this. When I told you that the guy came to work for me, he became my best salesman. He ran the place. The main guy died.
Mhm.
And that was it.
Really?
And that was fucking it.
How many years did you have to pay?
A decade.
Yeah.
A decade.
You basically bought protection.
And what would happen was, I was one of the worst gamblers you ever saw in your life. Like I would the minute, like when I went on Pardon My Take the first time with Big Cat, PFT, and Hank, you know, they were degenerate gamblers. They were fucking firing. They were betting everything they owned. They were just going. And I said, listen, guys, the only way to make money is to bet one game a week.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, one game a week? We bet 10 games a day. I go, well, there's no way for you to ever make money. You know, one game a week is the way. So I know that from experience because I would lock into a week and I'd have one best bet Saturday, one best bet Sunday, and that should be it. But the minute I called in that one bet, I would be like, all right, give me this, give me this, give me this. All of a sudden I have 30 bets, similar to what they do, and get murdered. My number one play would always win. Everything else would lose.
You come out even.
No, I get killed.
Oh,
I get killed.
Even worse.
So then I get
kicked in.
Then I get shut off from bookmakers, and I'd go to another bookmaker, and I just kept running debts up, major debts. And then what would happen is we'd have to go to a sit down, and they don't know I'm with anyone. So I'd walk in, and they'd be like, "Don't fucking tell me he's with you," because then they're not allowed to take my action.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally. So I walked away from a good $1.5 million of losing bets because I was with these people.
Which people?
My people.
The mob, his mob
people.
guys. His mob guys.
The third round, like the final round, the final mob guys.
Final round guys.
Correct. Because
Question number 2.
Go.
Can't lie.
Right.
Said the game was fixed. Book
Right.
it. Buffalo Bills.
Right.
Was it-
No. Absolutely
You
not.
got served, but you never necessarily answered the question on if you had the inside, if you had the
they
inside
knew
track.
I didn't. They knew I didn't.
So you essentially lied about having the
100%.
conversation with Bum Phillips.
100%.
But you said earlier you don't lie at all.
Oh no, I definitely lied then.
Were there NDAs involved with this legal?
Meaning?
You had to sign NDAs if it were to ever be brought up again. Say
Yeah,
on Bus with the
100%,
Boys, you have
100%. 100%.
You have to say no. I never talked to Bum Phillips.
100%.
Did you?
No. Well, they didn't ask that. They just said I'm never allowed to have NFL players work for me and use them as the face of my company.
How many NFL players would bet with you?
You see, then they would go under assumed names because you would go to jail. So I don't actually know. But
That
like,
you were aware
like
of. You don't have to
Ken-
say names,
well,
but
a lot of hockey players, like Ken Danico, he called me out of the blue. He called me the year they won the Stanley Cup. Calls me from the Pittsburgh Penguin locker room. I'm like, how the fuck? You're not fucking Ken Danico. What are you talking about? I said, you're playing in 2 hours. He goes, yeah, I know. I'm calling you from the locker room. Went on an insane roll with the guy. Won him like $250,000. Major fucking roll. Major roll.
betting on games with him, like him involved, like him playing the game, like his team.
Yeah, no, never hockey, football.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, he would pay you to get the picks, and then he would go bet.
Yeah,
The NFL,
exactly. Never
gotcha.
hockey. We never spoke about hockey, but he gave me and my brother tickets. We went to every home game that year. I sat next to his wife and his sister for the championship game when they clinched. They won 2 games in Detroit, and then game 3 and 4, the Stanley Cup, was at home, and we sat next to his wife and his sister. We weren't allowed to tell who we were. It was the fucking most crazy thing ever. Hanging out with Dad, it goes,
Yeah.
I didn't say boo.
Really?
Jaromir Jagr in the 90s was a big bettor, and he lost like $1 million.
What did he do?
He was one of the greatest
Gotcha.
players ever. Literally one of the greatest hockey players.
I'm not
ever.
as much of a
Right,
hockey,
right.
yeah.
Hockey came
Wearing
to
a
me
hockey
lot.
jersey.
Oh, right.
Shout out the boys, Spin Chicklets.
Hockey came to me a lot. There was a lot of hockey players.
Hockey players are degens for sure.
Right.
But did NFL players come to you?
Not that, literally, not
None that
one,
you're aware of.
Literally, not one that I could drop a name. Basketball, not one that I could drop a name.
How about
baseball? Not one that I could drop a name.
not that? Yeah, I mean, even if you.
I literally have none. No,
What about referees?
never like that. There was never anything like that.
Yeah, there was never some Shoeless Joe Jackson type stuff going on.
No, never. I was never like involved with that. I don't think it actually even existed that I know of. Like, you know, like I was not like I never knew about it. Like there was an Arizona college basketball betting scandal that one of my cousin's best friends was there in Arizona and his roommate was doing the fixing. And they called me and told me this. But 2 of the 3 games they gave me lost. So I was like, you're a fraud. 8 months later, it all came out. He was fucking telling the truth. They threw the game. But I didn't, you know, like in other words, I never trusted it. Like everybody wanted to be a handicapper.
Mhm.
Everybody wanted to have an opinion. And they would call me and they wanted to work with me picking games, but I knew they had no idea. You know, they were clueless. There's, you know, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You know, they didn't know what they were doing. Like I ran a couple, like I ran in, let me think, how it was in the 80s probably. I ran double strip ads in the New York Daily News and the Boston Herald. And I spent like 25,000 a week, 12.5 each paper. So you'd open up the paper and they would have all the analysis of the sports games. And I would run a strip ad at the bottom. And that would fucking do amazing for me. Absolutely amazing. And Rick Riley of Sports Illustrated came to me and he wrote about me and he'd fucking annihilated me. Oh my God. Like that was the last time I ever spoke to a reporter. Like, you know, when you hear these stories, I said one thing, we ate at Amato's in Amityville, great meal. It was me, him, and Sandy. And then when it came out, he absolutely destroyed me. What happened was one of their they paid me as a customer. And I hit like 40%. I was cold. They caught me for like a 3. I got fucking terrible. And they destroyed me in the Sports Illustrated. Destroyed me. Then also I got fined by the Daily News, 10,000, Department of Consumer Affairs. I think it was 80, late 80s, maybe 90. They hit me with a fine because I was too aggressive with my ads. The person who wrote the ads for me, first week I went 7-0. So I posted last week 7-0. Then my advertising agent next week put 2 weeks ago 7-0. I didn't go 7-0 that week, but it was posted. So they immediately took the fucking ad down and fined me like $10,000. So people to this day, like when they write bad about me, they say Stu Feiner was fined $10,000 in the Department of Consumer Affairs. It was like 1990. What are we're in 2024 right now? But you know, so there were certain things that I ran the company, and certain things that my salesman said that, you know, I would say keep it clean, walk the line, but they went over the line. So in reality, when you say, did I lie? Were there things I did wrong? I'm responsible. So yes, I did do things wrong. Certain things, not premeditated, not on a daily basis, but it was fucking done. And
you almost just understood that the line was always going to be crossed in some way, and it was more just be like, I don't want to hear about it.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? You know, keep it as clean as possible, but you know, whatever. You do what you got to do. When Rick Riley wrote about me, I mean, I caught the worst break fucking possible. So let's say it was in Sports Illustrated, big deal. The cover of that issue that I was in was the one that Magic Johnson got AIDS. So it was their biggest fucking issue ever. So like
everybody read it.
Everybody fucking read it.
How do you feel about that now, knowing like it's, you know, people have those like shots and you look at that as part of like your reputation?
You know something? I'm in a whore's business. I'm in a 99% of the people that are in my business are scumbags, lowlifes, and thieves. From day one, they lie. From day one, they double side games. They give half one side, half another. From day one, they bookmake. They say, I know the bookmaker. I'm good. Like a guy, they'll say, can you bet 100,000 on this game? No, I can only bet 10,000. They'll give a number, which is them sitting right next to themselves, the bookmaker. They change their voice. They pick up the phone. They go, yeah, what the fuck you want? Yeah, who the fuck sent you? Fuck you. Yeah. What you want to bet 100,000 a game? Send me $250,000. Yeah, you got $250,000 credit. You could bet up to $250,000. They send the money, and then they either lose. They give them a game for the whole amount, and if they win the game, the phone number gets disconnected, and so does this guy's phone number get disconnected. If they lose the game, it's a wash, and they just stole the money. So I've never done any of that. I don't do that. So compared to 99.9% of people in my industry, even when I was rolling in the 80s and 90s, like let's say I've been squeaky clean since 2001, squeaky. You know, there is never, because the only person you're dealing with is either me or my son Alex. That's it. That's literally it. It's the only people you'll ever speak to. And I never did that.
So basically, like you're in a scumbag game, but you try to be as good as possible in the scumbag game.
Exactly.
Like always a good scumbag.
Exactly. But I'm talking the 80s and 90s. Not now. Now you go to jail.
You're right.
You know, now right. Mistake, you go to jail. You can't do that. You know, there's no.
You've had the ability to like hustle and sell and,
Correct.
You know, manipulate the brain into being able to sell. Like get your product across. Bet with me, trust me.
Right. Like in other words, 2 years ago on Barstool Sports Advisors, you know, I won the overall record, and I was 15 wins, 4 losses, 2 ties on my mortal locks. People sent me money every week that I never heard of, that I don't even know who they are, saying, Stu, I love you. I bet you mortal lock. Stu, I won like 9 in a row. Like, and I was yelling about it. So this year I was 9-1 on the mortal locks. I mean, not horrific, but like on the overall games, I was fucking terrible. You know, like 45% terrible, because it just didn't work for me. Like I told, like on Barstool Sports Advisors, the public won, sucker money won. Teams that had injuries, I like the teams with the injuries. I like the inferior team. I like the dog shit team. I like the team that cannot win. I'm going to be on that team. This year, didn't win. This year, I looked like a fool certain times, because the next day I go, didn't you know there was 5 injuries here? Didn't you know the quarterback, you know, whatever. But normally that worked for me. So I've been doing this so long, like I tease about it, but I'm gut level. I measure my success by the decade, not the week, month, year. You know, I didn't roll off a turn-up truck and all of a sudden I'm Stu Feiner. You know, like in other words, you know, people don't pay me millions of dollars a year because I'm a fucking jerk off. They pay me because they know not only are their sons have made money with me, but their fathers have made money with me. And it could be going back to their grandfathers. I have 3 generations of people.
He's put on a masterclass right now.
That have fucking gone through with me.
Yeah.
So in other words, fuck yeah, wasn't my best football year. That doesn't mean it's not going to be my best basketball year upcoming. But for, you know, I did not have a winning year. You know, I'm not afraid of that. You know, doing this since 1980. Not afraid of that. Not afraid of that.
Yeah.
I've been fucking, my dick has been on the line for 44 fucking years.
When you start betting, like how big of would your units get in your peak when you would go bet?
Betting 150,000 a game.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Getting my dick kicked. Getting fucking hammered.
Why, whenever you talk to a seasoned gambler, it's always like negative town. Like Big Cat, Dave, all those guys are like negative about gambling, but you still fucking do it every day.
Well, because it's, first of all, it's very competitive. Like we spoke, like, I don't know if we were rolling, but we spoke about Dave. Dave is one of the smartest humans that have ever walked this fucking earth. Dave has a Yiddish cup, which, you know, means that he's so glib, he could talk on any subject, whether he knows anything about it or not. Balls of stone. His father was a lawyer. He thinks like a lawyer. He thinks analytically. He thinks he wants to back you into a corner so you can make a mistake, and then he's the greatest counter puncher ever. But the motherfucker is so competitive. He got extremely lucky being born in Massachusetts. He caught 6 fucking Super Bowls. He caught the Celtics championships. He caught the Boston Bruins championships. He caught the Boston Red Sox from jerk-offs and perennial losers to being arguably winning the most fucking World Series in any team since 2004. So in other words, he has so much winning under his belt, and that motherfucker is so competitive. And the hardest thing in the world to do is win money gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Big cat, big winner, very smart. He looks like, plays the dummy role, plays like I'm a dodo. That motherfucker is super smart. He has a photographic memory. He knows everything about everything. He never says he doesn't know it unless he knows it, and he fucking knows it. It's like PFT. Those guys are scary smart. You think they're just, two swinging dicks. It's the reason that fucking, they write 350,000 a week on fucking Pardon My Take. It's the #1 podcast in the fucking world. There's a reason that they're so fucking great. Big cat, so competitive, hates to fucking lose, hates to lose. It's a detriment to anybody in life. I hate to fucking lose. If I'm walking in an airport with Sandy and I don't like the fucking person to my right, I'm going on that fucking escalator before them. I don't give a fuck if they're 80 years old, if they're fucking limping, if they're crippled, if they're in a wheelchair. I just fucking competitive. I'm fucking cutting them fucking off. It's a detriment. I don't like to lose. So gamblers, especially successful men and women who have either inherited money through death, accident, luck, who have built their businesses up from nothing and now are worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions. Dave's case, hundreds of millions. They don't back down. They don't fucking back in any walk of life. They don't back down. Gambling is unbeatable. That doesn't mean that these competitive people that own 70 car lots and are making $2 million a week, they go, hey, Team A's playing Team B. How the fuck am I not going to be able to figure this fucking out? I got a 50% shot. But they don't realize they don't. They don't realize they don't. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it is. I had a pamphlet that in 1992, I was sending a $250,000 pamphlets out every 2 weeks that gave the schedule rotation of the games. It was called the Vegas rotation. The reason the schedule was critical if you're a gambler is I sent it to bookmakers, and then bookmakers sent it to their clients, because like on a Saturday or like on a Sunday, there's no fucking internet. How do you know this? How do you know the schedule of the games? So if you called a bookmaker in the old days, 80s and 90s, this is what you would hear. I would go, Stu 131. All right, Stu. Lions are 6, Patriots are 7, Steelers are 4, Knicks are 6, and they would read it right in a fucking row at the speed of light. Unless you have the schedule, which was called the Las Vegas rotation, you're fucking dead. You have no idea. So you would have to write the lines in the book. So I had the book. So I used to inundate the advertising with my 900 numbers and my 800 ads. So offshore sports books were opened in 1990. First time you could bet offshore. First time you had any shot besides local bookmakers. The only place that you could advertise nationwide would be an offshore sports book. Dave Bussin opened a place in Panama called SDB Global, and it stood. The initials were for Dave Steve Bussin. Okay, he opened a place in Panama, and Panamanian government stole $4 million from him, put a gun in his fucking head, and said, "Get the fuck out of town." And they just robbed his fucking money. They literally said, "We're not letting you fucking do this. Get the fuck out." They moved to Costa Rica. They're about to go out of business in Costa Rica because they cannot figure out how to advertise. The newspapers, the TV will not allow ads in the United States. I put a half-page ad for Bussin in my pamphlet, and he wrote $14 million the first year off of my ad. The offshore sportsbook business was started by me.
What do you mean by started by you?
There would have been no offshore fucking sportsbook business because he was the first person there. Got thrown out of Panama, so everybody heard about it. They were not going over there. And then he went to Costa Rica, and he was the first big business. He was the first sports book, the number one sports book, where people in this country.
You basically got connected with him, called him. Here's how you're going to do this.
Illegally can send money offshore, and you could bet. And that was the first big offshore sports book. So I used to make money on advertise. I advertised for him, and he also advertised on my score phones. So I was like the first to really push the offshore sports books. I was the first to get it off the fucking ground. And then eventually became like mainstream. But then he eventually got arrested, and he had to sell everything. And he didn't go to jail, but he had to pay like some exorbitant, like $4 million fine. And then he eventually he passed away. But he was a good guy.
Did you know he was going down?
No, he called me one day because he used to have his lawyers told him it was legal as long as he followed the money laundering laws. We weren't allowed to money launder. He thought it was legal. So all the money he made, the way he got caught was he paid taxes on it, brought it back into this country, lived in Miami, paid taxes on it, made like 10 million back to back, 10 million. And then they arrested him because you weren't allowed to be a bookmaker. You literally weren't allowed to be a bookmaker.
So he was actually trying to do it the right way.
100%. And he got fucking nailed. If he left all the money in Costa Rica, they wouldn't even fucking know it. He brought it back and paid taxes on it.
That's fucking nuts. With two for the money.
Yes. So
what was the process of how you?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need to know that.
Okay. So during my 900 number reign from 1990 to 95, I had a lot of people that worked for me that were quality score phone announcers and good enough handicappers that they fed these 900 numbers. One of the kids that worked for me, Brandon Link.
Link?
Link. He worked for me. And he was my top guy. I had a 900-860-3210, and then I had a 900-860-3030. So I had a $25 number that wrote $3 million a year, and then I had a $50 number that I bumped to that wrote $2 million a year. He wrote about $2.5 million. Then I had like another 8 people work for me that wrote like $2 million combined. So he was the best of the rest. Not me, because I was Stu Feiner and I won a lot at that time. Thank God. He went into a horrific losing streak. I'm talking 10% for 9 months. So I said, Brandon, you're a great salesman. You have a great articulate voice. I'm going to have my brother-in-law give you the games. And you're going to feed them on your numbers. And that worked for about 3 months. And then when the business quadrupled, because Kevin was winning, Brandon lost his fucking mind. So I bought him a Porsche at the time, 900 King on the license plates, bought him a Rolex. So one day, come to the office, and he was like my best buddy. People hated him because he hung with me. He went every day, he hung with me, went to all the sporting events with me, went to Super Bowls, went to Broadway, ate out to dinner every day at my house. The salesmen upstairs were on the phone pounding away. So downstairs, we have 2 satellites and 5 TVs in my office in 1987. Think about that. 1987. Bars didn't even have it. I had 2 satellites on the roof. To get the NFC games, you had to have 1 satellite. To get the AFC games, you had to have another. And I was way ahead of my time. State of the art. So he would literally hang out with me and watch the games. And he was best friends with my brother, and they would fuck whores, and they would do a lot of things. So he gets pissed, and he writes this long letter to me. And he gives me the Rolex back and says, listen, that was fucking bullshit. Made you a ton of fucking money. I was your boy. You fucked me. Blah, blah. Leaves me. That was 1995. Goes to like Australia for 2 weeks. then comes back and he's balls broke. He caddies at the Riviera Country Club. I'm trying to get a hold of him. Can't find him. No matter what I do, can't find the fucking guy. Can't get a hold of him. Detectives, friends, giving 50 grand cash. Find this fucking guy. I want him to come back work for me because he left me in 95. He set up someone to take over his spot. And 95, I wrote 11 million, 96, 14 million, 97, 16 million. So in the letter, he says, I'm not fucking you. You're well set to go on your way. You're never going to miss me. But I can't work for you no more. And he was right. But now I'm killing. So like, let me get a hold of this fucking guy. Can't find him. And I mean, you can't even make this fucking up. So I have like 220 full and part-time people working for me. It's before the internet killed me. It's before the 900 numbers went in the toilet, 75% chargebacks, before I had to borrow money and go into not bankruptcy, but, destitute for 7 years and can't pay the mortgage. One of my salesmen comes down and goes, you're not going to believe this. My cousin owns a security firm in Arizona. And to keep paparazzis away from stars. And Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo are riding horses in Arizona at the Grand Canyon. And they overhear Dustin Hoffman say, I'm playing this Jewish guy, Stu Feiner, in New York in a movie. I said to the salesman, do me a favor, get the fuck out of here, you jerk off. What are you, out of your fucking, is this a joke? He goes, I swear to fucking God, Rene Russo's husband, Danny Gilroy, wrote the screenplay. And I swear to God, there's no mistake here. I'm like, get me fucking Danny Gilroy's number. Guy gets me Danny Gilroy's number. I call Danny Gilroy on the phone, Rene Russo's husband. I go, listen, you low-life cocksucker motherfucker. I'll fuck your wife on fucking national TV. Who the fuck are you to fucking write a movie about fucking me? I'll sue your cocksucking balls. And I hang up the phone. I leave my number. Call me. I am telling you, 1 minute later, Brandon calls me. After 2 years, can't find the kid. Stu, what are you doing? You can't threaten Danny Gilroy. You're going to blow the whole thing up. Blow what thing up, asshole? And he tells me the whole story. He caddied Danny Gilroy, Rene Russo's husband, and Dustin Hoffman at the Riviera Country Club. He lined Danny Gilroy up for a 50-foot putt that he sank. Dustin Hoffman, on the spot, gave him $20,000 because during the 18 holes, he pitched his story about him working for me. I go, well, listen, there's no fucking way you're going to do this without me. He goes, I'll come back to work for you and we'll make it happen. He came back to work for me as if he never stopped, became a superstar again working for me. Sits on Dustin Hoffman's desk, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. Hands it back, says I can't do the project. Danny Gilroy, Rene Russo, shop the fucking thing, 2002, 3, 4. 2005, Jim Robinson, that owned Morgan Creek Production. Last house on the block, finally says, let's do the movie. And they got Dustin Hoffman. Totally out. They got Al Pacino to play me, Matthew McConaughey to play Brandon, Rene Russo to play Sandy, Jeremy Piven to play my brother-in-law, Kevin Duffy, that ran the fucking place. And the customer that we took for a ton of money was Amanda Sante. And in the movie, they made me sign off all the rights and everything. The sports advisors in that movie, Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey, and Jeremy Piven, were on my TV show. So 2 weeks before the movie fucking airs, all of a sudden, Brandon says, fuck you, I'm not letting you in. Al Pacino wasn't you. I go, what do you mean it wasn't me? It's my movie. I fucking signed off. This is my fucking TV show. He does not let me do all the interviews that he does. At the time, I went partners with Dave Budin's son, Steve Budin. He became a total drug addict, lost all his fucking money, and he was some entitled fucking scumbag. Really, the worst of the worst. Would to your face, would hug you, kiss you, and then try to fuck your wife behind your back. You know, the biggest thief ever, which is most of the time what happens when the father has money or your family has money, and then the son is just fucking, you know, he's married into it, and like he thinks he's a big shot because he's got his father,
right,
whatever, to do whatever. And it wasn't all ugly with Steve Bussin because he got sportsbook.com and sports.com. He got $1 million deals for me to advertise on my score phones when I bought the score phones from Jerry McCarn that went bad. So it isn't like all bad. He didn't fuck me totally, but he eventually fucked me. So, and then he goes into business with Brandon and fucks Brandon because he says to me, Stu, don't worry about it. We set up a website for Brandon. We changed Brandon's name to brandonlang.com. And at the time, I went into the internet and I started doing really good with websites. So Steve comes to me and says, listen, let Brandon run. We're going to take every customer that advertises and pays Brandon Lang, and we're going to just push him into stufeiner.com and all these other websites we own. So we used Brandon's site as a loss leader Brandon never knew, and we took all his fucking customers. So I made like $6 million off of it. And forever, eventually, Brandon came around, and eventually Steve wrote a book and said, yeah, of course, Al Pacino was Stu Feiner. And the movie was a disgruntled employee's standpoint on working for Stu. You know, that was fucking what happened with the movie. So that's the whole movie story in a nutshell.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
God, it's a good one. Because basically, it's Brandon Lang in the movie, right?
Correct.
Brandon Link is Brandon Lang.
Right.
And it feels like the hiccup of him going on this dry spell, and then your brother-in-law forcing him to give Brandon the picks, and he had to do them, and then you know, hit it big, and he got pissed off and left. They more so made it about getting too close with the family, getting close with your wife, you thinking that the cheating thing's going on, and then that's why he writes the letter, gives the Rolex back and all the watch and everything else, because it's like, hey, we're both going down a bad way. Al Pacino's going down a bad way, trying to do private, you know, all this stuff, not trying to like ruin the movie, but
You did.
Correct. And
it's really it's awesome. You'll really like it.
The scene in the movie in the restaurant, that restaurant was, I think he fucks Jamie King, I think her name is.
Where Al Pacino sets that up?
No. He fucked this girl in this restaurant. Well, I don't remember how it was played in the movie where
in the movie, Brandon thinks it's him gaming her up, but
Right.
really Al Pacino set it up.
Right. Okay. What really happened, it was a restaurant called Nanny Il Valetto, 61st between Lex and Park.
Yeah.
The two restaurants we ran in is that restaurant and Smith Walensky's. We went there almost every night with 20 people. So I was spending like 6,000 to 8,000 a night on dinner, like, because I had unlimited money and I didn't have I was never good with saving it. And I live like I'm going to die tomorrow. It's how I do it. It's not a great way to be. It's not a great way to be married to me or whatever, or financial advisors, but that's how I do it. So, you know, like if I died at 30, I had a great life. So I'm living like I'm going to be 63, January 31st, same birthday as PFT, day before Big Cat's January 30th. And then Craig Carton's January 31st. And Josh, who's the kid that does BFF with Josh Richards, is January 31st. His birthday's the same as ours too. But so I got 33 years of a role that I never thought I was going to happen. I thought I was going to die at 30 because I just had the perfect life. You know, I could deal with losing money gambling. I could deal with the sit downs. I could deal with all the craziness because I just had so much fun. You know what I mean? Like no one had as much fun. You couldn't have as much fun as I did. You couldn't bring an entourage forever, everywhere, every night. Like I hit the Super Bowl every night for almost 30 fucking years. But Brandon, what was the point with that? I'm sorry,
I was just saying it looked like some of the Hollywood. Right. They made it more about the wife situation and the Al Pacino
in other words,
movie.
The movie is specifically 70% fake, 30% true, like every Hollywood movie. But it really is how Brandon felt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It is a disgruntled employee's standpoint on him working for me.
On him thinking he's coming up, he's the real one, he's better. But Al Pacino is kind of like
the games from him away.
Yeah,
that was his only contention, nothing else.
Yeah,
my only and then he used to Brandon used to get food for the office upstairs, which he thought was beneath him. So one day we get a TCBY order and Brandon is getting the order. And my brother comes down and says, Kevin, why don't you go upstairs and get the order? And Brandon was like, I'm not fucking getting the order. And my brother cracks him across the face and moves his nose from here to here. He still has problems with his nose. So, of course, we go to the hospital. The doctors are going, you got to sue this fucking guy right now. You could fucking put him in jail. You're going to have problems here for the rest of your fucking life. You're going to need surgery. You're not going to be able to breathe right. And I'm listening to this, and I fucking call my guy up. And I said, you better get to this fucking place quick because we got an issue here. So he tells Brandon on the fucking table, you fucking ain't riding anybody fucking out here. You broken nose the last fucking problem you're going to fucking have. And thank God, because my brother would have gone to jail. Definitely.
So yeah, you've had to make a couple calls during your time.
Oh, I've had to make like 40 calls that I can't tell any of them. That's the only soft one I can tell. Yeah, I've made a lot of calls.
You can make calls still.
I have no choice. I've made a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of really disgusting, ugly. Like holy fuck! Like how can you live with yourself and you do what you got to do? You know, certain shit gets scary. You know, I put myself in some bad spots, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is.
What a line.
Right?
What a line.
How do you feel like your outlook, you know, principles, philosophy, whatever's changed since those times where all of this stuff basically happened?
I mean, like, in other words, I have an insane attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, because the way you are, like, embracing the positivity, the way that people understand Stu Feiner in the Barstool sports world, it also sounds like it's a very different Stu Feiner that is in this world of gambling, the mafia, is the everything else. Like I've had to do what I've had to do.
20 years, almost 30 years removed from that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Most of the Stoolies, most of my peers weren't even born yet.
Mm-hmm.
or were young. Like I'm the oldest Stoolie. I'm going to be 63. You know, I don't act 63. I act like I'm fucking 23.
Mm-hmm.
But so I have an extreme attitude of gratitude. I have insane wisdom due to failure after failure after failure to never lose your enthusiasm. You know, I have an overall scope on gambling where kids call me all the time that like my business is the hardest business in the world because it isn't like I ever get people, Stu, I want to pay you. Never gambled in my life. This is the first time. Let's go. I never get that. Never. I get train wrecks. Stu, I'm stuck XYZ. Stu, I got murdered and I'm in a really bad spot. Stu, I lost money I did not have. My first thing I say to them, which is so counterproductive for my business is, hey, listen, gambling's for the rich to have fun and lose money. I mean, you're fucking a psycho. How about go to Gamblers Anonymous? Don't ruin your fucking life. I don't need your money. Now, I wouldn't have said that when I was in my 20s, but I say it for the last 15 years. So I'm trying to dig someone out of a hole, and they're putting me in a spot that I got to win right fucking now. And that's impossible. That's impossible. There's no way to help someone. If all I ever did was get someone from scratch, I could manage a bankroll. I can understand the whole thing. I got a shot. I got no shot. These people are already destroyed. They're hammered because people on their own think they could win. And then people chase thinking they could win. Then they're going to ask their dog, their mother, their father, the banker, who they like. And they're going to bet those games. Then they're going to watch some fucking jerk-off shows. And they're going to fucking get hammered again. You can't go on any sports channel right now and not get a handicapper or an analyst that's played the game, that's literally staring at you, telling you what's going to happen. Now, he's not telling you to bet on it, but he's so confident in his analysis that you do bet on it, and then you get hammered. And then they fucking come to me. What am I going to do? I mean, you're already dead. So it's a really tough business. Now, I do get people who have unlimited money, trust fund people, people that are responsible, I do get them. But that's like 20% of my business. 80% of my business is train wrecks that I pray to God I can get hot tonight for the guy. Because half of the people go, listen, I got one shot. I'm dead if you don't win. And I'm losing for that guy 40%. I'm losing for that situation. Guaranteed 40% of the time. Guaranteed. 60% is insane winning. That's inhuman winning. Now you're put in a position where you're in a fucking hot seat. You have to win. So it's a really tough business. So my point of my attitude is that my experience being on this earth so long, I'm a father of 4. I'm a husband, being, no matter what I performatively talk about my body count and who I'm married to the same fucking girl. I've got her to 10 years of the day. I got no prenuptial. I am not fucking really good looking at all. I don't have a big dick. I do eat ass and eat pussy. I'm great at it, but nobody's going, wow, I'm going to fuck that guy. So I'm with one person, you know what I mean? That's who I am. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I have a lot of knowledge because of my failures and my psycho bad experiences, so that most people's lives suck. That's the cold, hard reality of life. Life is very hard, very difficult. It is painful. So what I try to do is give a little brevity to gambling, brevity to life, be super nice to people. I help the less fortunate. I do so much that no one will ever know, including my wife, what I do for people, because I was taught in the Overeaters Anonymous rooms when I went there, because I was 262 and I got down to 139 because of the rooms. They taught me what to do. They taught me I'm eating over my feelings and problems of feelings, so that I know how hard life is, and that most people do not ever catch breaks. Most people have an unsatisfied life. So I try to tell people to be great, take no shit from no one. You can do it. But in other words, the reason I was successful, first of all, I was with the same girl. She was my bookkeeper. Her father worked for me. Her brother-in-law worked for me. Her 2 sisters worked for me. So I was married into that, right? That's number one. And they helped me tremendously. So I didn't stray like I could have. Like, she's been with me to all the sporting events. She's been with me to all the craziness. She's there. That is invaluable. That's number one. Otherwise, I would have crashed and burned. No two ways about it. There's not a fucking, I would have had babies, I would have got sued. Who knows, whatever. But the point is that I was taught that you have to help the less fortunate and never get found out. You can't say, I did this for someone, look at me, because it doesn't count. It doesn't count. So my plight in life, my reality of life is that I want to treat the garbage man the same way I'll treat Dave Portnoy. When I walk into that fucking Barstool New York office, first New York office, second Chicago, I fucking say hello to everyone. I look everyone in the eye. I shake everyone's hand. I don't remember half of their fucking names, but I make sure that I say hello and I look them in the eye. And they know that I am real, and they can rely on me. Because, as you know, you guys get the world by the balls. You were gifted with such intelligence. You can articulate. You have insane social skills. You have an insane reputation, and you were phenomenal athletes. No one has that. No one really has that. That's why you are who you guys are. I got the ability. I bounced back from tragedy and circumstances that should have taken me out so many times. If I made the wrong step certain times, if I went certain times I was late to certain situations that 14 people died, I should have been there. I was not there. I could have been smacked around with my partners when the mafia came after. I was not there. I got sued by the NFL. That could have gone so bad and so wrong. I went bankrupt. Not bankrupt, but I was balls broke. I didn't pay my mortgage for 4 years. They didn't come after me. somehow I was able to just constantly talk on the phone every month to the people. I'm going to make it happen. I'm not going to beat you. I'm living here. I got my, playing the game outwardly. Everything's okay. Inwardly, I'm fucking dying. Then I got a fucking modification and on my mortgage. And I went bad the next month for another 3 fucking years. And I was able to pull it off. So I had a $650,000 mortgage. They put like $1.1 million onto it. It was like $1.7 million. Right now I owe like 12 payments left. I own the fucking house. Like a $2 million house. Fucking I did it. I don't know how. So the point is that you have to believe in yourself unconditionally. You can't rely on no one. You really can't. Like people say, it's great to have good friends and people to help you. Yes, but no. It has to come from you. You have to make your own life. You have to make your own success. You have to do it because there's so many fucking opportunities out there right now, especially with the internet. You could reach the world. You got a good idea. It's easier than ever right now, but you still have to have the balls to do it. And you have to be able to deal with the people that come after you. Say you're a lowlife, say you're a scumbag. The better you do, listen, people hate people that are successful. They really are. It's nuts. It's fucking crazy. Like people say, don't read the comments. Dave and Big Cat and PFT, first time I met him, don't read comments. I read every fucking comment. Every comment. I delete any fucking person that fucking is a scumbag. I hide it and I delete it. Every comment, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Every fucking comment. I've never not read a comment because you're not going to piss on me in my fucking house. And my social media is my fucking house. I worked hard at that. You know what I mean? I'm 63 fucking years old. No one's ever said, hey, Stu Feiner is the greatest guy ever. Like Barstool loves me and that stuff. But no newspapers, no media. Fucking ESPN never picked me up. Fox never picked me up. No media outlet ever picked me up. No newspaper ever picked me up. Matter of fact, they tried to put me in my grave. So in other words, I've dealt with a lot of adversity, but I'm not going to read about it. You're going to piss on me on my social. That's my backyard. That's my life. I built that up. I got 170,000 fucking followers on Twitter, and my Twitter's been taken down 3 fucking times. And I was the ultimate shadow banned. They shadow banned me. They created the word to shadow ban me. My Instagram's been taken down twice. I got 130,000 followers on Instagram. Those are hard numbers. You know what I mean? Because I'm not Dave Portnoy. I think I am, but I'm not. I'm not fucking Big Cat, not PFT. I'm not you. I'm not you. You know what I mean? I'm really not. But I bring enough to the table that every day I work hard. Every day, everybody knows what I eat, what I do, when I take a shit, when I fuck my wife. And that's my game. So my point is that you don't rely on nobody. You want something to happen, you fucking do it. It's the Barstool way. Barstool ain't going to do shit for you. They're really not. You could work there forever and be a nobody and make no money. What did Brianna do? Brianna, literally, I remember like it was fucking yesterday. She was some scared little fucking intern. And I went out of my way. I mean, obviously, because she was beautiful. But she doesn't look like she did then now, But I went out of my way to say, hey, lady, you're going to fucking be great. You give it 100%. Fucking 200%. Like anytime, like for example, people would walk into that office and I watched it. It really drove me fucking crazy. Brianna, can I take a picture with you? Meanwhile, Grace is sitting right at the fucking desk next to her. And Grace never blinked. But I watched a couple times. She put her head down because, like she didn't get the buzz. Anytime I took a picture of Brianna, I said, fucking Grace, come in the picture. So I'm aware. But again, I'm 62 years old. To be aware like that, you have to see a lot. I've seen a lot. So, my message would be like my motto, my MO is to fucking, you rely on yourself, you trust yourself. No one's better than you. My point that I was talking about when I started the business, me and Sandy, we worked 19 hours a day for over 15 years, 7 days a week. There was no difference. I did not go to people's weddings. I did not go to people's birthday parties. I did not go to backyard barbecues. I fucking worked like an animal. So I know how it is to work. And you have to sacrifice. And the sacrifice is painful. And the sacrifice is deep. And you're going to lose friends. and you're going to lose friendships. But to be successful, that's the price you pay.
Mm.
That is similar to the price you pay. And people hate you. Jealousy is crazy. It's fucking crazy. The better you do, the more people hate you.
Well said.
You know, it's so that's my MO.
Fuck, man.
It was great having you on.
Me and you probably put in, look, there's 2:38 right now. We probably put in 8 minutes total.
I think that would take the under on that. Yeah. So maybe we talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's incredible to hear your story. And it's incredible.
It's an honor. Listen, I'm so blessed. I really am. It means the world.
I know there's a lot of gaps, and you could go on and on and on.
I could speak for another 5 hours.
Yeah, no question. But I feel like we got a good front to back cover.
Yeah, and it was really.
I can come back anytime.
I remember meeting you, and then I didn't know obviously your background and all that, and Will was kind of filling me in. It was back in New York, and then obviously seeing you on Barstool Sports Advisors and the Top Dog Energy. It's incredible to see you turn on the energy and also the gratitude. You're a very genuine person. It's very nice to finally get to know you a little bit.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
So the show was called initially The Sports Advisors.
The Sports Advisors. And Dave said, I want to rebrand it.
And you're the guy to do it with because we want to bring back all that.
I want to bring back your show, you know. And he literally said to me, my son was still pissed to this fucking day. He said, what do you need? You know, meaning how much money? What do you need? I was like, fucking Dave, can I run 2 commercials on the show like I used to? He goes, yeah. He goes, that's all I fucking need. Because I'll make my own money. Like, it's probably a bad move. I probably should have hit him for a salary, and then I would have probably got a couple $1 million worth of Penn stock. And, you know, I missed out on that because I'm not sharp like that. I'm just not. You know, I'm a quick to make a decision. But I was so grateful, you know, I'm like, fucking Dave Portnoy just fucking called me. I got to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if I can't make my own way off of that, then I'm not Stu Feiner. You know, then what the fuck I've been talking about my whole fucking life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I got you guys the book, Betcha I Can.
Okay.
This book, you know, tells the whole story. And then, guys, I got 2 more here for you guys, too. And then I got...
Stu the Source Finder.
And then I got the Cum Towel, which is a fabulous piece of merchandise. Hello, Mr. Cum
Professor
Towel.
Pick.
Hello, hello, hello. And it's a great read. I mean, you take a shit and that book will be, you know, an hour and a half. You got the whole fucking book under your belt. And then most of the time, you know, because you guys love gambling and love the roller coaster. It's a great story. You'll read it twice. It's just fucking great, you know. And then there's a lot of things I didn't talk about that are in the book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't want to bring up, but, you know, it's in the book. It's black and white. Everything that happened is black and white.
Give it a read. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's a good read. So
Appreciate you sharing all this with us.
My pleasure.
Do you have fun on Bussin' with the Boys?
This is the best. This is the fucking best.
I know. I'm so pumped. I remember listening to your episode on Spittin' Chicklets, actually. And by the way, shout out the boys for these jerseys. We just did a sandbagger and a podcast with them. But I saw your interview on Spittin' Chicklets, and I was like, this dude's a fucking riot.
Those guys are the best. I fucking love them, and they fucking love me. I love them. I mean, they're
grinders
They're
as
the
well.
greatest. They fucking work their dick off. No issue. No 2 ways about it. Look,
it's the only way to be successful.
Right. There's no other way to do it. Otherwise, everyone would be successful.
Mm-hmm.
People are not willing to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They're really not. And there's no other way to do it. There's just not. Then go work for someone and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Phenomenal podcast.
Subscribe, rate 5 stars. Thank you. Big hugs, tiny kisses.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good.